Yeah, isn't it?
I'll
Good
be
evening,
breaking up all over the place.
And welcome back to this week's episode of GKP Live. Usual thing, guys. We're going to have a quick introduction, and we'll be back right after this. This would have, if I were going to pick this show, I'm going to pick that one. So we've got a lot more up to come. Nice patterning, nice separation. Look at that, beautiful fish. And again, check this out, guys. This is something else. That is beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Nice wild common carp coming up for a piece of bread. Perfect. Let's have a look at his koi facility again and look at this full cherry blossom. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to get from the other side so we've got the sun behind us so that you can see this, but this is absolutely stunning. Yeah, it is. Look at this beautiful. Yeah, it is. Absolutely beautiful. Without further ado, I'll get us inside, have a look round, and let you see what you think. Welcome back, and you just caught me there mid filling up my bit. That video used to be a little bit longer, didn't it? Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope everybody's good. I hope you all have had a good week. How are you doing, guys? You doing good?
I'm doing better.
Better. You got a bit more.
Better.
A
little bit more movement today, but I'm supposed to be getting my injections tomorrow, so.
Good stuff. You
need
need
that time. Fingers crossed it gets into the system quick and you get a bit of relief from it, mate. How about yourself, Rick? You had a good week?
Very good, mate. I've had some twisted guy on the farm do it.
How's that gone down?
Mad busy. Just, yeah. We just, I don't know, we're struggling to, just keep up with stuff. But that's got to be good. You'd be upset if the phone wasn't ringing and the orders weren't coming in, then you'd be worried. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely, 100%.
Good deal.
So.
At present, we've got no Daz, but hopefully, I'm hoping he's running late. I heard nothing from him. He's got the link and everything, but hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be with us ASAP. I know you don't want to miss it. I know you were saying earlier on today that he couldn't wait. So, usual thing, we'll see him and catch him up with him at some point for this evening. Now then, chaps.
He'll be on.
Vince, first of all, mate, don't forget you're topping up the toast side tank.
Yes.
Good start.
Yes, there we go. Thought I'd remind me. He did ask me to. We'll go through a couple of the comments and we'll say a quick hello to everybody. Give Daz a chance to drop in. Once he's in and we're off and we're away, we'll kick off for this evening's chats, topics and discussions. Bubble and Finn says it's nearly time people go grab yourself a drink and snacks ready for tonight's live. Thank you very much, Vicky. I appreciate that. Budget Pod Keeper says, I have grabbed all my bits and bobs ready and waiting. You got this. You got this. Thank you very much, bud. Hope you're doing well, Chris. Budget Pond Keeper says, Bubble Finn says, Budget Pond Keeper, well prepared. Peter says, we are all ready for a great evening talking about our favourite subject, koi. Cheers, Pete.
Let's go.
And an evening all to all. Cosy Koi says, good evening all. Here's to another great live. Cheers, Cos. Appreciate it, mate. there is a link which is pinned to the top for anybody who might wish to join us this evening. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be anything other than just somebody that might want to come sit here and have a natter and a chat with us. We have room for 6. There's 3 of us in normally, 4 with Daz. If anybody wants to come in, join us. Click on the link at the top. Obviously, a good evening from me. How's everybody doing from myself?
0 comments.
From your own little comments in, just to say hello to a few people. Koi Central says, evening all, hope you're all well. Joining for hours, so up at 5 tomorrow instead of 4. Yeah, well, an extra hour in bed, mate, but that's still way before Sparrow's fight. You won't be getting me up.
Yeah. One sec.
No, we've got. DT says, good evening all. How is everyone? Thanks very much, mate. Very well. Hope you're good yourself, bud. Scott Henderson, Koi and Hawks, thank you very much for joining us, mate. I had to watch one of your videos the other day, bud. Quite good, mate. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen anything with the Hawks yet, but I'm going to go back onto channel. It was Vince that mentioned your channel, mate, last week, and I thought definitely worth having a look at. Quite like a bird of prey as well, so that should be some interesting content to have a look into. Dave from Koi Karma says, evening all, what a busy week. Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh, Rocket Boy.
What a nightmare week too, but I ain't going to go into that shite. It's spoiling.
No, leave that there.
Koi Central says, Dave with a thumbs up. Koi Karma says, hi, Matt, with a thumbs up. Budget Podkeeper says, Dave Scott, hand, pink, waving pink hand, which means he's obviously just fun. Dave with a pink hand. Chris, see you're all settled in for the night. Oh, we got there. Nipping Koi says, evening all. Evening, Nip. Hope you're good, mate. Teska says, hi, everyone, with a wave. I hope you're resting up after all that mad building you've been doing, love, but it's looking good. You're doing a great job.
It's looking fucking sweet.
Brilliant, that. Absolutely top banana.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'll tell you what.
It's going to be fiberglassing job, isn't it, that?
Oh, yes.
Fiberglass, and away you go. You're almost there, love. You've broke its back now, and that is for sure. Andy's Koi Puddle says, evening all, Koi people.
Andy, dot. There's my man.
Says,
guys, get over at the Will's channel. Please, please, please go over to Will's channel and give him a subscribe. Let's get him to 100 subscribers. He has sent me something that is out of this world for the 2,000 subscriber giveaway, as well as a combination of Martin from Devon Koi Pond and DT Koi. That arrived this evening, and that looks phenomenal. So I'm just waiting for one more thing to arrive, which is the food, and then we can kick off the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. Sorry for cutting you off there, Gaz.
No, it's fine, mate. I was hoping you were going to carry on for a bit longer, so I'm trying to find his channel.
I've got to say a big thank you to Martin anyway, because in with that, he sent me some laser cut Twisted Koi logo key rings. So if you're watching, Martin, thank you very, very much. Absolutely awesome. So we'll be giving a few of them away.
There's Will's Koi channel link there, just been posted in the comments for you guys. If you can slip by, he's up to 84 subscribers. I think we're 66 in. If we haven't got everybody that's not already subbed, let's see if we can get him 200 tonight. That'd be wicked. He's
a cracking bloke. He's an ex-squaddy, and he's had to go through a bone marrow transplant, and he makes wire bonsai trees as well.
Is that the dude that made the wire bonsai?
The gentleman. That's the one that gave me the wire. You know the one in the
That's smart. That's nice. Talented.
Yes, I keep telling him he should be selling them.
Oh, 100%, mate. That's well good. Really, Paul. Really, Vince showed me before he put it in his channel. I was well impressed with that, mate. It looks really good, mate. Absolutely sweet. Looks just as good as the ones that I've seen at the events and shows and anywhere. So, got a lot of patience for that kind of detail work for sure.
Yeah. I've got to give him a call later anyway, because my daughter wants him to make one in certain colours.
Yeah, I won't mind one.
And she's willing to pay for it as well, Will. So we'll have none of you sending it in a box and here, I'll give this one to your wife and give this one to your mum. I mean, blew me away when I opened the box this morning. I was expecting one thing in there, and there was three, and I was like, "Guy's a legend."
Yeah, certainly is. I'm talented at that.
Oh
We've
fuck
got
yeah!
evening from John Cook. Good evening, John. Where have we got now then? Let's see if we got any more we can whiz through. MGH Coy says, "Hi Seska, how's the pond coming on? Pretty good from what I've seen.
Getting
Pretty
bigger,
good."
isn't it?
Matt?
Getting bigger.
Paul
Hey.
Mack says, "Evening all, looking forward to another great live." Cheers, Paul. Thank you very much, mate. Now then, what I'm going to do, I'll go through one or two more. Budget Pond Keep says, "Evening, Humber." Koi Karma. Edward Guppy said, "Hi, Gaz, Daz, Vince, and Ricky. Have a good show." Thank you very much, Edward. I appreciate
Cheers,
that.
Ed.
Simon Shears says, "Hi, all." Evening, bud. Gary Webb says, "Good evening, people." Now then, Leo, thank you very much, mate. Thank you for the support, bud. Appreciate it. Evening, guys, with a thumbs up. Cheers, bud. Where was we? There we've got Peter, who says, "Evening, everyone." And a few more people saying backwards and forwards hello to each other. Right.
Gaz, you know as well as I do. We've met the lass in person, and if she makes that pond any digger, you know, makes
Bigger.
that pond any bigger, then she's gonna need a fucking stepladder to get out of it.
Yeah, it's that's what I mean. It looks, when I saw pictures of a day and I thought, "Oh, that breeze block on, we got skimmer going in and everything." I thought, that's a damn big pond. It looked bigger than
Yeah.
what I thought it was going to be. It's all right. So
Yeah.
it's almost a little swimming pool.
They've done fucking awesome, they have.
They are 100%. Doing a great job, Sesko.
Does look
Right.
nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. To say
It does.
that, I'm assuming that you've never laid or block work before. That's you put some lads to shame on site that I see anyway. That's for sure.
I'm not saying nothing. I held my hands up. I knew you was digging at me, you twat.
we've all seen. I wasn't.
We won't mention Lumberlock.
Now you mention it, there might be a certain wall in a certain mini Tosai tank that was a good job you rendered it.
Yeah, because it wanders in two ways. It wanders outwards and then acrosswards as well.
It does job, Vince, doesn't it? It's all that matters, isn't it, really?
It's in a straight a donkey's hind leg.
Yeah. Blind man on a galloping horse, Vince would be happy to see that brickwork. Right, we've had
It looks
one,
good from your house.
Yeah, it looks good from my house. We've had one suggestion from Chris Henton, which I think is brilliant, and I think it's a damn good idea. And I'm going to see what you guys think, and if you do agree, then I think we're going to make this a regular. Just how regular will be down to you. You let me know. Do you want this as a weekly? I think if we do it as a weekly, we could quickly run out of content. So I think maybe a fortnightly or a monthly, personally myself. But Chris has suggested that can we have like a reader's wife section of the live?
Get your minds out the gutters, you dirty bastards out there.
Basically, us as the panel, we pick a variety of coin. For example, Kaku. And next week or the following week, everybody uploads or sends me a copy of their favourite Kahaku in their pond. Now, we're not asking, as the message says further on. You pick a koi variety, maybe every week or monthly. We, the subscribers, submit photos through either Facebook or Discord, and you feature them in the live, and we discuss them. And I think that is a good idea. Whether or not everybody will be 100% happy with it, we'll see. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be on the panel ripping somebody's fish to pieces in any way, shape or form. And I don't think that's what it needs to be about. It's the fact of people sharing what they've got out there. And as the gentleman says, it's important, though, that we're talking about, we're not talking about the mega book show end fish, Japanese import stuff, where people have paid thousands and thousands of pounds for it. We're talking about the standard grade koi that can be shared with like-minded people. Very few of us have got the chance to own a top-end show Japanese bred specimen, but I think it would make them get the message out there. We can all appreciate each other's koi, which I think is a brilliant idea.
It's a good idea.
I think if you guys are interested in it, and if Chris don't mind as well, he's put the idea forward, I think it'd be absolutely fantastic and a wicked idea to actually do. So I'm going to implement it. We're going to come up with the fish when Daz gets on between us, and we'll pick whichever variety be the first one. And all those that are watching that are interested and want to share the fish, feel free to send me your pictures through either on Facebook, either on Discord, or through to my email address. And I'll put them all together in a little file, and we'll sit there and talk about them and have a chat about them and showcase everybody's fish. And then we'll go through, maybe 2 weeks later, we'll pick a different category, a different fish, and a different subject. And we'll keep doing it. Let me know what you think, guys. Comments in below, please.
More like a reader's appreciation as opposed to a reader's wives.
Yeah, I just thought it was quite funny. He did put laughing faces at the side of that. I just thought it was quite funny to read. But can we have a reader's wives section?
But yeah, I think it's a wicked idea.
Yeah, definitely. I'm bang up for that. We can see what's out there.
Somebody has sent me a little picture. Let's see if we can help this gentleman out, because let's see if I can share this. Somebody just sent me a little message with a little video there. And if I can pop it up and make it full screen. There we go.
Nice. Ooh.
Yeah, that's dropsy, mate. There's not what you're going to be able to do for that, I don't think.
No.
That's. I mean, there's two things you could do, mate. You could leave it to live its best life for as long as it possibly can, or, in my opinion, you could put it out of its misery before its eyeballs pop out of its head and sedate it.
All I'd say there is just if you got somewhere you can put it in a full 6%, 0.6% salt solution, you give it a fighting chance.
Yeah.
So if you've got a quarantine tank or a separate place where you can keep it at a sensible salinity, it looks quite strong. It doesn't look unwell.
Yeah, it does. It does look. It does, but that is dropsy, isn't it? Let me see.
Yeah. The internal pressures too. Yeah, it's got fluid inside, was pushing the eyes out, and so by bringing the salt up, you'll alleviate some of that. Yeah,
you'll suck some of that out, won't you?
And you give yourself a fighting chance. So 6 kilos of salt for 1,000 liters, and it can stand that long term. It will be all right. It will come round or it won't. It's better than nothing. It's worth a punt because the rest of the body ain't too bad. It's
you can see there's a bit of stretching, can't you? There's a bit of it, a bit of pine cone coming in, but not bad, but it will get worse if you don't do anything.
Definitely. Yeah. If you've got somewhere to put it separate, get it out into some salt, and you got a chance.
I managed to cure mine last year in one of my fancy goldfish. Managed to get it just by salting it and doing pretty much exactly the same. I got that right, but the following year it came back, and unfortunately I lost it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, mate, you can catch it before it's too late. You never know. It might gives it a chance, doesn't it?
Yeah, it depends what's causing it. So yeah.
There's a multitude of factors that could be causing it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So hopefully, I think he just sent me a message there. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll grab a few bags of PDV salt tomorrow. There you go, mate. All best. Good luck, bud.
Right.
That's always horrible in it to see. It's always horrible. That's a nice looking fish. Sickner.
It's livestock, isn't it? You've got to deal with it.
It's always the way, though. It's always the ones that you like that end up kicking you in the teeth.
I apologise if you can hear that, but it's absolutely bouncing it down out here. So,
have you mended your roof?
No, mate, I haven't. No.
No.
Don't fucking start him off, for Christ's sake.
We might end up with a puddle. But...
You had to poke him, didn't you?
No. We've been there. We've done it. We sorted. We've got a plan, but getting the work finished before they do any repairs, because if they do anything else and it gets damaged again, it's kind of like pissing it wind, isn't it? So either way, I'm going to get a wet leg.
Fair enough.
So, as we were saying,
That's like armour that he was the other day, though, isn't it, Ricky?
He definitely seems more chilled.
I've had a chance to calm down a little. Not much, but a little. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you're up for that idea about the showcasing of your fish and us picking a variety each week, then we shall see what we get from that.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you?
Good idea. Right. First one we're going to do then, we'll bring up this really important question. This one's from Amanda Smith. The most important question of the evening, this was probably going to be: red or brown sauce on sausage sarnies?
Brown.
See, I'd go HP brown.
Yeah.
But what do you reckon for a bacon sandwich then?
Combo.
A combo.
Yeah.
So there you go. Our combo. Well, we've got a combo for bacon. We've got a brown for sausage. But to make it perfect, if it were going to be a sausage sandwich with brown sauce, HP, it has to have some melted cheese on it. Just to tip it off.
What?
You never tried it?
I'd rather have a runny egg.
With even better, Vince, a runny egg with cheese and a sausage sandwich. It's even better.
That's just wrong.
Now you need your egg tested.
Right, the second really important question of the evening comes from Paula Chilton, which is: how many people does it take to fit a massive window? I'm guessing that's probably going to be just you and your fella, seeing as you upset most people last time you had asked that question. Second question, or the third question of the evening, is from Tony Barker. A quick question for Rick. A couple of lives ago, he mentioned using water shrimp to keep the biomedia clean. Can you tell us what type of shrimp, and more importantly, where we can get it from?
It's called Gammarus, and it's available in any good chalk stream. Or it's a natural, yeah.
Is that the little curl, the little sort of like translucent curly things?
No, they look like wood lice.
Yeah.
They've got proper little shells. They just go around eating detritus. Literally, yeah. They just
And the fish like eating off them as well.
Yeah, they stay in the filter because it's safe, and they just crawl around eating all the rubbish. Amazing. Yeah,
there's been quite a few people putting out shorts. Are these harmful to my koi? No. Chuck them in the water. They'll love you for it.
The problem with them is they won't tolerate any fluke treatments, so they're very susceptible. They need good water without any chemicals. So if you're treating your fish with a lot of the treatments, will kill off the Gammarus. But yeah,
that would explain why the little fuckers were reproducing like rabbits in my veg filter in the front garden.
Yeah, they love it. Anywhere where they're safe and you're not putting anything, no pesticides through them.
Well,
yeah.
They
were safe until Susan netted them and tossed them in the fucking in the pond.
Yeah, they ain't going to survive that one, are they? They're definitely not going to get the way through that.
So technically, if you had you could keep them literally in a spare area. So if you had them in your filter and you needed to treat for fluke or whatever you're treating for with a product that's going to kill them, then if you've got some in a little tub somewhere else, and they'll live in pretty much anywhere, you can just repopulate. But they're just super sensitive to treatments and whatever. So they are proper. Any good pure water source, chalk stream, whatever, you'll find them. They're just the natural Hoover. But yeah,
do they breed fast? Are they fast breeders then?
Yeah, they'll breed like crazy. They're just like, you can buy them from a lot of the food manufacturers as a dry product, and feed them to you. They're one of the best fish foods there is. But yeah, in a normal koi pond, unfortunately, if you populate your filter with them, they'll either be a pain because they might be blocking a drum or a sieve or whatever, and obviously every time you treat them, you'll be killing them. So they only work in certain environments.
So they are good. Natural environment. Anybody that's got something like a what do we call them, bog filter type thing, perfect for it.
You remember last year and the year before, I was putting up videos of my Harawaki and my Makashi coming out of the water into those planters.
Yeah, they'll come out eating them.
Yeah, that'll be what they were. That's what they were going for.
Yeah, all day long.
Literally, the Harawaki, it breaches the water, goes at least a half out of the water, and it's crazy to watch. But yeah, dives into that fucking planter.
Yeah, they're just nature's tidier upper, but they're sensitive, so you can't. Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't treat for flukes because you're more than likely that would kill them. That would get rid of them as well. So
take out all your natural. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of the chemicals. They're unselective, aren't they? So you're taking out good and bad in one swoop. But other than that, they're amazing. Huh?
Do they tolerate salt?
To a point, yeah. They tolerate natural environments, so a certain amount of salinity or temperature swings, fine. But yeah, you hit them with some pesticides, not so good. Yeah. And that's what you're doing with a lot of the treatments. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, makes sense.
Perhaps we should start marketing them, put them in bags and sell them off.
Well, I mean, if they're good for your food, for your fish for food, that's probably a good idea for getting a breeding source of them that you can just net out for yourselves, like, and perhaps maybe Daz, like when he's, just for growing on his young'uns.
Yeah, they're not. They're too big for. They're quite chunky.
I mean, like his toe size and stuff. Yeah. A bit of an extra form of protein.
But where they're beneficial is they'll clear. If you've got a settlement chamber that's, I don't know, how many hundreds of gallons that's full of crud, they will just turn it back down to nothing really quick. Magic. But
there you go.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question for you, mate.
Nature is such a wonderful thing when you start to understand it.
Yeah, and you can get them from nature. There's a chalk stream.
They're free. They're free, yeah. The best stuff's free sometimes.
Just make sure you get a fair few of them. So you've got I'm guessing they're going to be male and female, or they're not hermaphrodites that can.
Yeah, they're like normal shrimp, so they lay thousands of eggs. They carry them around and they just multiply. If conditions are good, i.e., a biofilter full of crud, that's good conditions, and they'll flourish until they get terminated by a treatment if it goes in there. So yeah, it's like anything. If you create the environment for them, they will flourish. But they can be a pain in your filter if you've got, trying to polish water or whatever, because they will end up. Some of them will go through into, in the olden days, sand filters or drums or whatever. But it's just part and parcel.
Yeah.
There we go. Our Daz is running a little late and he is here now. I told you he'd turn up. He won't want to miss it. He's been stuck in traffic around that corner from his house, I bet you.
Sorry about that.
All right, good. You good?
Oh, yeah, crazy.
He's eating his tea.
He went out to Sainsbury's to get some fucking trifle, didn't he?
That's what it is, mate. That's what it was. Has been stuck in trifle queue, haven't you?
Yeah.
No, I've been bloody fighting hamsters. Oh, bastards decided to break out. I've been having to put metal aluminium patches on the cages to keep them in. It's like an invasion.
What, is that all the baby ones as well?
Yeah, I think they've been conspiring for a while and they've organised a mass attack.
Well, they are a form of rat, and rats can eat through anything.
Yeah, these little buggers can. How are we all, anyway?
Very well, mate. Thank you. Did you hear the quick mention about what? I'm sure you've just seen he's put it further down, but we've got a lot of evenings and highs and everything from everybody else. Crafty Coy says good evening all. Simon's Coy Pond says evening ponders. Chris Henton, evening all. Cloudy Art, get yourselves out over to this gentleman's channel, guys, on Instagram and on TikTok. Have a look at his work and have a look at his pieces. Is further down he asked me for where's my shout out. So there you go, mate. I'll win. See you morning, mate. Has got some good stuff. Well worth having a look at. I said I'd give him a shout out, so there you go. You've had one, bud. Send me some details, mate. Send me some pictures and stuff, and I'll share them with folk, and we can see what you're up to. Simon S says, hi all. Hi, Simon.
Simon.
This evening. I'm going to whiz through a few of these. Chapping it up from West Brom. We've got loads and loads of already subbed from Seska, from West Brom, Andy Coy Pond. John Wales says, hi all, great day, Adam Byers. Thanks, lads. Mate, it was wicked, wasn't it? Thanks, and it was really good to see you again.
It was a good day.
Yeah, it was.
We'll have to, when we come up with the fishing trip, mate, when we're going, I'll hit you up, mate, and we'll let you know. Andy says he's already subbed. Budget Pond Keeper's already subbed. DT's subbed. Everybody's subbed. Hopefully, let's have a quick look. Let's see if we can see. Let's give him a quick refresh. See if we got you up a few or not, mate. 88. That's not far off, mate. Not far off now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get you number 12 bit end at night. Job's a good one.
It would be fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
So for all those that haven't, there is, if you scroll back up, you'll see there's a link, in fact. For all those who haven't subs, if you can do it, trying to see if we can get the Will's Coy up to 100 subscribers this evening. He's at 88, we just need 12 more, guys. Give him a bit of love, give him a bit of support. Let's see if we can get him up to that 100 mark and get him off the ground. Shrewsbury Coy says, evening Coy Nutters with a thumbs up.
Evening.
JP Watergarden says, Mark, what food you using? Mark, what food you using, bud?
I don't know.
Nicola says, hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us.
Evening.
Charlie Mr. Brown says, evening, Gaz, Daz, and all viewing. Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Did you manage to tear yourself away mid-loading at Mapot game? Toy King, says evening all. Jess Harfield says, evening, guys.
Yeah.
Carlos C says, evening all. Evening, Carlos. Hey, the Coy Keeper says, evening all and that. With a wave of hand.
And that. Aid.
West Brom Coy says, how's the pond, Ed, and that? DT says, Vince, what you like? And every month, guys. So, right, so Dave's saying every month thinks it's a good idea. Budget Pond Keeper thinks it's a good idea every month. Right, so
monthly.
We'll go for a monthly thing then. Coy Central says, great idea. Sounds good. Good idea.
This we're talking about.
Right, this is what we're talking about.
This is what happens when you're late, boy.
We're talking about.
One time I've been late.
We're talking about what we're going to start doing. Chris Henton come up with a really good idea, and he's just put a little message in here that says it's just an idea to get us more engaged. My koi are far from specimen, but they are what I have, and it would be great to share. Make a change from seeing premium fish on social media. And his idea was, Daz, that every well, every month, as we've decided now, every month, between us, we decide on a typical specimen of koi. We ask people to send us in pictures and photos of them. So they can either do that on Facebook, Discord, or on email through to me, which is gazzaskoipan1@virginmedia.com. It took some remembering that. It took me months. The only reason is because it's so similar to my other email. Why, shaking your head at you?
No comment.
Well, Ricky should have no problem with that one.
I'll send one
He's
in.
got thousands to choose from.
Yeah, well,
So what we
not
do
sure
is
that's the point.
we get them to send in pictures of whatever fish that we've decided we're going to do, and then we have a look at them, showcase them, and we have a chat about them, which I think would be a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. Nice one, Chris. That were a belting idea, mate. That's just made a nice little bit of topics and
I'm sure there'll be a few that are a bit ambiguous. People aren't sure exactly what they are. We might be able to shed some light
yeah,
on.
exactly. We could always do the strange and
Deal
weird.
with the long fucking words at this time of night.
It's supposed to be brains be going overtime.
Few words.
Sorry, Vince. I use my little words from now on.
No comment.
Will Coy was just telling the missus that she's going on here, and that's because he said, "Could we first of all could we have like a reader's wife section?" So we're getting every koi keeper's wives to come in with pictures and photographs. Or sorry, which are we doing? The wives or the koi?
The koi.
Wise. We do a calendar, end of the year.
Yeah, I tell you what we could do. We could do wives 1 month and koi the month after.
Yeah.
There you go, Will.
That go down well, yeah.
I think not. But yeah, everybody's saying thinks it's a great idea. And nothing to see the readers' wives can't be posting their koi. It was that big appeal to it. There you go. Yeah, John Cope says drops in or Popeye, salt, lots of aeration. There you go. It's a sickener though when you see. We just had somebody else share the picture.
Yeah.
Eyeballs popping out of his head, but
It's terrible, yeah.
I'm waiting for my hands to fucking work because I've got to get the Gimmer and Soul guy out because she's not pick up the fucking scales.
Yeah. You need more variation, Vince. That's what it is.
one of my fish did the other day, Vince. You know when I said when I first put first treatment in, they were flashing and flicking around everywhere, and then all of a sudden there's this big, massive white scale. Well, not massive, but big for our fish. Big scale just floating down and doing this down into the bottom of the pond. I've had a look. Can't see. It's not off the Kahaku, so fingers crossed it's off the Crappy Wacky. So if it's off the Crappy Wacky, I'm not all that bothered because it's Deutsch, so the big scale, so you won't really notice it having not random one missing because it's only got random ones anyway. So I'm hoping fingers crossed it's off that. I think Kai says, "Good evening, Gaz, Fairy Cake, Rick, and everyone."
Fucking Steph, isn't it? You had to be.
The second question of the evening, Daz, was which is it? Which is the best? Right? Sausage sandwich, brown or red sauce? Most important question of the evening.
Red sauce.
Yo, what's your mouth out?
What's wrong with you all?
HP brown sauce is by far better, but we've got everybody discussing bacon and brown sauce. Fruity. Now, there. Fruity is really nice.
Oh, that's
yeah. Very good.
No, you wash your mouth out.
Bacon,
what about
Lisa
bacon
says,
with barbecue sauce?
Barbecue sauce is two things. Being on a real crap pizza or being in bin.
Pizza? No, you won't have barbecue sauce on a pizza.
No, some people have barbecue sauce instead of tomato puree because they can't have the tomato puree, don't they? So they have a barbecue sauce instead.
I've got weirdos in this house that have a barbecue face on their pizza.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Same in ours.
That's horrible. No, that's way too strong.
Tell you what is disgusting. The smell of his fucking mega munga mix, I'm telling you. Oh my word.
The mega munga mix.
Yep, it's Ricky's mega munga mix.
And is
Literally.
Is that a secret ingredient, that?
Oh, there's lots of secret ingredients, but he was putting his hand in, smearing it out, and it was stuck to him. And he went, "Here, sniff that." And I was like, and he's tossing it into the pond, and the fish are going batshit over it. And I'm thinking, obviously, you can't smell what I'm smelling, for fuck's sakes.
Growing by the day, isn't they?
Rancid.
Did it smell, what did you smell, Vince?
Oh, mate, I just...
Marmite.
No, not even that. Honest to God, it was like smelling earthy shit.
It could be some new wonder carp bait. Make a
Oh,
fortune.
Yeah.
It-
You do
it's
catch them all the time.
It's a special Ricky recipe, but it fucking stinks, I'm telling you.
Is that one of those additives that Ricky adds to his not beat the breeders?
Ah.
One of many. You won't get near me. It's fine. Number 30 is like that.
Told you, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Oh, we got Crafty who says it's a great idea, but let's share our best fish irrespective of whether it's high grade Japanese koi or not. Let's not discriminate against those who buy high end koi and don't show either. Well, if there is anybody that actually comes and watches my channel with high end grade koi, then I will greatly appreciate said lovely fish. But I think the vast majority of us are back garden koi keepers. I'm not saying all, and I might be surprised, but if somebody wants to show some high-grade koi, I'm happy to look at anybody's fish. So, yeah, all good, whichever we go with. I totally agree, Crafter. I just wishful thinking we'll get some stonking-looking fish to look as well at. But I would...
You think to yourself, all of my koi are higher grade, I'd have you now.
The true thing is, it don't matter who is or who they are that say that these koi are what they are. They're only nice if you bloody like them.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If you don't like it, it might just as well be a shite koi and come from wherever it's come from. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Simple.
You're not liking, no liking.
That's it. That's the one.
So what are you doing with the white one, Gaz?
It's what?
What are you doing with that white one?
You want it?
Oh, that was quick.
That one, mate, I don't like it.
Which white one's that, Gaz?
That's why I call it a crappy wacky. And the reason why I don't like it, I liked it until I fed, which will bring us into his next question. The reason why I don't like it is it was nice until I fed colour enhancing food. And then it went crap. But it's never changed. It's never, I've stopped, I haven't fed colour enhancing for 12 months ago. And it's still got, it was like a goldy yellow rather than a yellow harawaki. It was like a goldy yellow. It would look like a fish. As soon as I started feeding colour enhancing, all of the bloomy coming up in it, and it was within the gold yellow pattern. Like, so it's gone all speckled and looked weird.
You can't blame colour enhancer.
I was just about to say, if you can't blame colour enhancer, if it's in the genetics for that to happen, then it's going to happen whether you put colour enhancing food or not.
It might just be pure coincidence, but
It
didn't do it before. That was what I thought it might have been, but if it's like you say, if it's in the genetics, it's going to happen. So I basically bought a crappy wacky, and it became a crapawaki. So it is what it is, isn't it? It's not my cup of tea. I don't particularly like it, but it's a perfectly healthy fish, and it's growing pretty well.
It goes.
It's the sacrificial fish.
It looks good from my house.
Just like your pond building does to mine.
But the claws away.
We should get Seska to come and show you how to do it. But
We'll stay out of this, Ricky.
I'm not getting involved.
No.
Right then. So Peter Dowfell says fish food. This is a bit of a random one. We've got a couple of random ones this week, and I'm pretty sure that most people need to proofread before they send their actual question in. Statement, or whether this is a question. Fish food, as mine has changed, it's gone up in price, and it's stopped giving the ingredients. I'm guessing it's stopped, but it's not got the same ingredients.
Yeah, took all the good
Same
stuff out.
recipe from Animal Feed Shop. Is it the same as is the same as my old one, but it's old stock. So I only got 5 kgs.
Yeah.
Now I'm not sure if that's a statement or whether that's a question or where we go with that one. But fish foods prices have gone up. I guess everything has, hasn't it? But 17.5% on everything pretty much, isn't there? So
I just
it's
bought
good
it
to go.
from 20 and it was the same price it was last year.
Remember that at the end?
What you've got to do, I think if it goes up in price, you've got to do one or two things. Make sure you're still feeding the quality
Oh no.
and see if you can pick it up anywhere else for cheaper. But hopefully, the thing is, right, there's two ways of looking at it. We do one or two things. We stop buying. If we stop buying, eventually,
Oh, fish starve.
Yeah, because they would die.
Well, yeah, you fish starve. But the other one is if you can buy some inns to stock up till such time and not buy anymore, or we buy as much as we can so that they start getting in and buying more.
My blanket's pee.
You're stuck, aren't you? If you need
They're fresh.
I know it's in north, it's not with pee. And I haven't done anything.
Sorry. Let's just come and say hello and then you go to bed. Sorry, I've got an intruder.
You're right, boy.
Say good night, mate.
That's say good night, mate. Quick, take
Good night,
like 50 escape to get onto Xbox.
I told him we could stay for 5 minutes.
He loves YouTube, mate. He's on.
Even 5, Rick.
No, I mean,
All right.
I'm not really sure, Pete, what we're trying to discuss here. I mean, if your ingredients has changed,
Then
I
why
don't
buy
know.
it?
Yeah, don't buy it. If it's old stock, I won't buy it.
No.
I mean, check your buy dates or whatever. Make sure that it's in date at least.
Yeah.
Try see if you can find it from another source and perhaps maybe have it delivered to you rather than having to go to your local place that you're picking up from. But there's plenty of good deals out there, mate. The more you buy in bulk, the cheaper you get it. So
Oh yeah, definitely,
you can buy
definitely.
it. Well, yeah, maybe not so for you. Well, I suppose it would be the same for you, Rick, isn't it? But if you buy mass amounts, you get it cheaper than what you would do if you only bought a ton of it. If you bought 10 tons, you're going to get it cheaper.
Each pallet gets cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You just got to stop the mice eating it in the meantime.
But I mean, the other way to look at it is if you've got 4 or 5 friends that all would go through 2 bags each per year, then you buy 10 bags of it together collectively and have it dropped on a pallet and then just distribute it between yourselves. Save the cost on that way. Other than that, mate, there's not much more that can really come up with you as any ideas of where you can move forward with your question.
We now have a distributor for Takazumi.
Sweet.
My man Skeggy has now got an account with Evolution Aqua, who it turns out are the distributor for Takazumi.
Ah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Try that, mate. Try giving Skeggy a touch and see if you can get a good price on some Takazumi from him.
Yeah.
And see,
Good.
as well as my Takazumi, the only other pellet food I feed is the 3 mil Vitality that I get from Ricky.
Because you feed a lot of naturals as well, don't you, Vince?
Yes, I do. I feed
Mealworms,
a lot.
that sort of thing.
Lot of freeze-dried meat, especially once the temperatures go up. A lot of freeze-dried mealworms, black soldier fly larvae,
Yeah.
oranges and stuff. Yeah, they love natural food. But like
I
I
know-
said before, would you like to eat the same shit day in, day out?
I
No.
do.
You always
I might
get
get
one.
that one. Well, the one of his questions that we've got from Dave Man 5140. I don't know what your proper name is, mate, because that's all it comes up with on YouTube now. Is everybody's got like a hashtag somewhere, aren't they, or at in now? And Dave's question is: feeding colour feed versus growth balance, and how colour food should be used or should best be used. There we go. There's a topic for us.
I'll
Feeding
go
colour
straight
food, growth and balance, and how colour food should be used.
Personally, I'd use colour food all the time.
Would you really?
Mixed it a bit, but yeah, if you're growing and building them, you've got to keep the
colour
stuff,
pigment going
the
in them.
stuff in the colour food is what they get naturally. So if you want to keep them looking good and growing and keeping the Benny or whatever growing with them, you've got to give them the colour food. So not excessively, but it needs to be there in their diet continually.
Right. So you would mix in your colour foods in with your growth balance that you were feeding them.
Yeah, basically. I mean, the whole growth food's a bit. We sell loads of it. Unfortunately, most people's ponds most of the time aren't suited for growth food because the temperatures aren't high enough. They're not growing their fish. They're buying something that it says on the label growth, and that's what they want, but they're putting it into an environment that's not suitable most of the time. And as we explain that to people, yeah, it's difficult, but there's a balance. And yeah, my personal ones, I just feed colour food, no growth food whatsoever, and they grow bigger and faster than anything else, because they can only use so much protein, and unless you're growing them a centimetre a week, then yeah, at 25 degrees, the growth food's no good. You can have it. You're mugged. But yeah, honestly, most people's ponds are not in a situation where they're going to get the best out of a proper growth food. So the food I personally use is about 37% protein, and it's easily digestible protein, and they will grow a centimetre a week in the right conditions on that. So I can't, yeah. So you could increase the protein in a growth food, but if you're not increasing the temperature and you're not increasing the water quality or space for the fish, and all, if the fish aren't young fish that are going to grow, you're not really gaining a lot. You're just creating more ammonia at the other end.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't start feeding my
colour enhancing mixed in with your food. They're getting the colour whilst they're growing, but you're not going to get the mega growth unless you're heated and you're putting that into them and putting them into the right environment.
Basically, yeah. It's just one of those things. People, some of the foods are crazy, like 55% protein. Some of the top end growth foods, and unless you're growing Tozai literally at 27 degrees, you're not using that. So that extra protein, the only place that's going is waste product out the other end. Yeah, it's all got its place. Don't get me wrong, it's all got, but that place, most people, if you're not heated, then you might have 3 weeks of a whole year where you are in a real growth
proper window. Yeah,
and the rest of the time you're not in that window. So just use a food that's going to be the best for the fish.
Yeah.
There we go then. So there you go.
I don't start feeding the mealworm and stuff and the Takazumi mix, which is a 50-50 split of their growth and their colour food. I don't start feeding that till it hits about 18 degrees and higher. And the growth food for the Takazumi, that's only that stops at 45% with the growth food. But then when you go to their winter mix, it's a 70-30 split of 70% colour and 30% sinking, which is a low protein food. So both of both of their mixes have colour food in them.
You need to keep the colour food in a natural environment. They will be in the shrimp and the algae and the everything else continually. That's where they get the colour from. So that just needs to be in their diet at a certain ratio. Obviously, the Sakai Hikari colour food is way stacked up for a quick blast of colour before a show or whatever to give them a finishing boost.
Condition them kind of.
So you don't want to feed that something like that all the time because it's just not what you want to be doing.
You end up blowing the colour out, won't you, in the end?
Yeah, well, you just push them to a point where they can't maintain it, and then you'll either bring out secondary heat or ruin the colour, and you're paying massive amounts for the colour enhancing product. So little and often is much better than yeah. But it just makes sense. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Just got one quick comment here, which we will touch back to what as one of his other topics was. H. Guy says, "Evening all, great idea. Do we have a butterfly 1 month?"
Yeah, yeah. I think we should.
Yeah,
why not?
I think we should. I think we should.
No, they're abominations.
Vince will have to go out and buy one. In fact, several times now, Vince, if I had your address, mate, you would have had one delivered to your door. Because we've been tempted so many times to pick you one up in post.
Twat.
We've said it a few times. Right, we've got. I think we've got a couple of questions coming up in here as well. Sarah says, "Really enjoyed the video of New Forest this week. That Kahaku Ricky got from Koi Wholesale auction was stunning."
Not seen it yet in the flesh, but yeah, different bloodline. That's all it is. Is to
we should buy him again Tuesday.
Yeah, sorry. Honestly, fish like that at that price, they're such good quality, mad. You know, it's not something we need, but it's a different bloodline to trial. Quality was good. Why wouldn't I? Because no one at that kind of price, mental.
It was only Tuesday afternoon. He was walking around the farm with me and Susan going, "I'm not going on there tonight because I don't need nothing. I'm not buying anymore."
No.
Yeah.
Is that you signing off, little one?
Say good night, mate.
Good night.
Say night, all.
Bye.
Come on, mate. Bedtime. He's listening about all the Kahaku and stuff and bloodlines.
Butterfly comments from Vince, so I hope he's not listening to everything.
Yeah.
Right then, Mr. Tropical Koi says, "How often should you change your bulb in your UV and when?"
They last about 6 months. So the bulb will light up, but they don't give the right wavelength. So 6 month usage. So if you use it for a summer, you shouldn't need it in the winter. Put a new one each season in the spring. Done.
So if I was to say that I've got a 20-watt one in my pond and it's been in there for over a year and a half, and my pond's still not green, would that not blow your theory out the window?
No, because my pond's still clear. I've not had a UV running on it for years. The balance of your pond's good. Your filtration's good. Your water's, your surface. So you don't need a UV. It's running fine. That UV bulb's probably not helping you whatsoever. You're just paying the electric to run a bulb that's not killing algae.
Oh, don't tell him that.
You know what? For science, I'm going to test it. I'm going to turn it off and see.
Turn it off.
For science, turn it off. See what it does.
The wavelength it kills algae at is quite a narrow band, and the bulbs give off the band for a period. They'll still light up for years, but their effectiveness at killing algae drops off. But your pond probably doesn't need a UV anyway. Is
it UV that they have for turtles? Sorry, for like lizards and what have you? Because I know that they have to be changed quite regular. Because if you don't, they stop giving them the sunlight rays, and then they don't end up shedding the skin, or they find it more difficult to shed their skins. I'm guessing that's probably going to be a similar sort
Same
of thing.
theory.
I would have thought so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the UVB
Try it,
bulb.
Mike. I'll try it. I'll switch mine off, and we'll see how long, if.
Tot it up, Gaz. 4 years, 26 watts every day. Didn't need it. How much is that?
Look, Rick, she's only in there. She'll come in here, and I'll have another. She'll tell me another new arsehole again. I've already had enough telling offs this week as it is. Don't need no more. Don't need any more, that is for sure.
But it wasn't your fault. The contractors dropped a scaffold board through your fucking roof.
You know that. Right? Whenever I've got an hole in my house, mate, it's always going to be my fault. Just 2 words that my dad told me I had to remember. That was yes, dear. And that's my fault. I'll take another one for the team. Why not?
That's why you're so fucking grey.
Probably is. These things get a question for Rick. Say you had 1,000 gallon pond. How many koi would you recommend to be added into? I've heard all sorts of different views.
What?
And his I know his question is going to answer the question with a question.
Well, no, at the end of the day, a 1,000-gallon pond doesn't mean anything, does it really?
No.
The filtration, the turnover. We got ponds on the farm with 1,000 gallons that are hundreds of fish in them, and other ponds that have got a handful. It's your filtration, your turnover, what you're trying to achieve. Are you growing fish, storing fish?
Size of fish.
Yeah, I mean, it's for a general hobbyist with a 1,000-gallon pond. Realistically, 10 or a dozen foot-long koi is where you're probably going to be, give or take. But if you want to grow fit, you double the filtration. You can grow them more or have more. The actual volume of water it's not irrelevant, but it's not.
It's not
It's
the
you know, it's what
restricting
you're doing with it.
factor, is it?
Yeah, it's what you do with it. So we've got, let's say, seriously, 1,000-gallon ponds with 1,000-gallon filtration units, and it is monster. It's as much fish as water, and not a problem. But you couldn't do that without the filtration and the turnover. And you're walking a line there where if the power goes or something goes wrong, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But for a general hobbyist pond, a 1,000-gallon pond, a dozen sort of foot long koi, you're probably in the right ballpark. But yeah, we go to ponds where people have got 20 different filters running on a pond, and another pond's got one little pressure filter on it. I've answered it with another question. I can't answer it.
There's so many variables at the end of the day.
That's what I mean. There's no one pond's alike, are there? Now, I've got a question for you. Can you over filter your pond?
No. You can pay a lot of money to push a lot of water in a lot of places it's not doing anything. So it cost to over filter it, your costs go through the roof for no benefit. But you can't over filter a pond from the fish's point of view.
So right. Well, then you were saying about how yours is going and it's running and it's not going to not necessarily need the UV. Mine turns over 3 times an hour.
So you got quite a serious pump on there.
Well, I've got 10,000 litres running at 8,000 litres, and I've got a 4,500 litres running flat out. So it's like 12,500 litres an hour. But my
that's what the pumps state, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to lose a percentage of it for bends and all the rest of it and all. But my pond's only 4,500 litres.
But your filtration, I've seen it, is way beyond most people's. You've got multiple big chambers of filtration.
Okay,
most people on a pond that size would have a little bucket pressure filter.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they?
Yeah.
The reason for building it as big as what it was so when I make the pond bigger, then I've got filtration to run it still without having to make filtration to go on it.
Future-proof.
Yeah, that was the idea behind it.
Yeah.
So you're rare. You've got a filtration setup capable of a 3,000-gallon pond, but you've only got 1,000-gallon pond or whatever you've got, your filtration is way above what it needs to be, but your fish, you've got a much better, happier, healthier pond for it. Most people the other way around have a big pond and a little filter.
Yeah.
So
I've done something right for once.
got lucky.
Yeah, you got lucky.
Right, I seen his question. Then is question: butterfly koi, mongrels or beautiful?
Beautiful.
Mongrels.
This is going to go 50-50. I'm going to say beautiful in their own way. In their own way, though.
They're just another aspect of any fancy fish, be it fancy goldfish. I don't like them, but I've got nothing against them.
That means we need to send 2 people one now, does? Damn it.
Yeah. I wouldn't have one, but I wouldn't have a fancy goldfish in my pond either.
No.
I got fancy
But then again,
goldfish.
I wouldn't have a sturgeon in the pond either.
No, me neither. And that's purely because I just think they're ugly. But it's not that I dislike them. I just think they're ugly looking fish.
Yeah, too big as well.
I like them. I like them visually because they are like a living dinosaur type thing, aren't they? Really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they do
I
look
don't
cool.
like them in koi ponds for 2 reasons, and that is you can't use a lot of the medications with the sturgeon in the pond, and 2, I know people that have had fish damaged because they've had a sturgeon in the pond.
Yeah. See, that's my.
Can I give one reason why? Not for those 2, Vince, are not that they're different environments. Sturgeon want colder water. They live from a colder, it's like having a trout in with your koi. Your koi wants 25 degrees. Your sturgeon wants 10 degrees. And the hotter it gets, the worse for the sturgeon, but the better for the koi. You're trying to rear 2. It's like tropical fish. They're different. For a koi pond, you want to try and maximize the natural heat as you can. If you're not going to heat it, so you want to keep it somewhere out of the wind and as warm as possible. And when you've got sturgeon in there, they'll feed through the winter. They're cold water species that
they'll eat high protein diet right down to these -4 degrees.
Yeah, but they can't tolerate low oxygen levels. So the hotter the water gets, the more they can't tolerate that. Whereas your koi are like feeding and going crazy and loving it, and the sturgeon are nearly dead. So a lot of ponds in this country you can keep both because the temperatures are generally so low that you're in a window that both of them will live. But it's not ideal. Yeah, like you should be keeping trout in your pond, not koi.
Salmon.
Yes, well, same.
Could you keep salmon in his puddle?
Yeah, he could. He's got the filtration. It'd be fine.
It will be bigger, won't it, Mary?
No.
But you've got the other side of it, though. Even though you are running one of your barrels as static, I don't give a shit what anyone says. Even though that is your mechanical filter, you will still have biological filtration going on in that mechanical filter. So you also have to take that into account when it comes to your actual bio filtration load. Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people
more so almost. Static filters are much easier to mature. They're much easier to get the biofilm on. Fluid beds are a nightmare. When they're good, but it takes so much longer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that brings us on. That brings us on to it. We have another question for that. So,
Do we?
well, yeah,
We're on a fucking roll today, Mush.
you keep just slipping straight to the next one. What is the best filter product?
Product is in what? Media?
I'm guessing media. I would have said, yeah. I'm guessing that's what he's referring to.
Depends what you're doing. It's the same principle. K1's one of the easiest.
Yeah.
It's a pig to mature compared to sponges or bacteria house or something that holds the crap matures much faster.
Yeah.
So When we mature K1, we make sure it's static with no movement. We make it a mess, and it matures, and then you can start moving it. But one of the main filter medias we use is like the light tag at the bottom of the power stations.
Yeah,
stone traps it matures so fast, and it holds as long as you're not putting too much physical waste into it. It's amazing, but you can't use it when you're pumping algae and crud in it. Yeah, it's the same as every filter media's got its place.
Yeah,
just depends if you've got a drum before it or not. If you've got sponges, are amazing to start with. They'll mature and they trap the crap, they trap the bacteria, and they mature themselves. And then 2 weeks later, they're blocked, and you're in trouble. But
you got to back through it again.
Yeah, I don't think there's such a thing as a good or bad.
You even use baling twine, don't you, Ricky?
Well, that's why I thought it was an interesting question, because some of the stuff that you use, Rick, is you wouldn't think anybody would even think about using that kind of thing. And when you see it
rolled up into tubes and water. Oh, mate, some of the stuff he has got going on for filtration,
all you need is a material that's got a big surface area, so the bacteria can live on it and adhere to it. That's not going to rot down. So in our main fish house, which you've probably never seen, the back chambers are all when the old turkey farm shut down, there was lots of strapping, like the strapping that you use around boxes, miles and miles, rolls. Yeah. So we use that, and that's literally in the back chambers as a partly biological, partly settlement chamber. Super lightweight. So when you want to come to clean it, it's just in a massive 2 meter cubed heap of it. Shake it, you can clean it, but the bacteria adhere to it. It's got a massive surface area. It works a treat. It's free. It's one of those easy products. The matting Vince is talking about is something. It's an old carpet from schools. It's a nylon carpet, which is like matting. It's literally it's a huge surface area. So we use that in a different way. We roll it into tubes and stand it, and as water hits it, it almost gets sucked into it, and it draws through it. And phenomenal. As long as you're not putting again the algae and too much physical waste through it. Awesome surface area, massive. Like I wouldn't even probably 10 times K1. So a meter cubed of that is like 10 meter cubed of K1 running, but it's got to be running the right way. Otherwise, you'll just block it, or the water's not traveling through it, and it's not going to work. So we use anything and make it work for us as we can.
It doesn't have to be fucking expensive, people.
And it doesn't. The simplest things seem to work the best.
Yeah.
Technically, it's not as easy. K1's very versatile. You can use it, and it is. You know exactly what you get, and when it's matured, you can say X amount of K1 will convert X amount of food, and it's especially in fluid bed filters. You know what you're doing as long as you're moving over. But so many of our filters are. We stock with huge volumes of fish, and then we empty, and they're literally left empty for 2 weeks, month, and then we drop a load more fish in, and it's got to be able to start. So a shower type filter will stay live long term, as long as it's not dried out. It will literally sit there, plenty of air. It's got all the air the bacteria needs. The bacteria will start to die off without the ammonia, but as soon as we drop loads more fish in, it just comes back, and there's no issue whatsoever. Whereas a fluid bed filter, if you shut it down, will die off super fast without the movement and whatever. So what works for us wouldn't necessarily work for a normal pond, but for a farm where we've got to drop 10,000 fish in that pond, and the ammonia's got to be all right. 4 weeks later, they're all gone, and it's going to be empty, and then we got to drop more fish in it. It's got to tolerate it.
React fast, work quick, do its job, and then cycle back up again as you need it again and again and again.
Pretty much, it's just in and out, and that's what you, as a farm, is kind of what you're doing. You're harvesting fish, you're moving them in. It's not about crystal clear water. It's not about presenting those fish. It's just about keeping those fish happy and healthy for the period they're in there.
technically they don't need to be in crystal clear water, do they? That's just purely for our benefit, isn't it? So that we can see them and appreciate them.
Sometimes for us to catch them, it's quite handy.
I noticed when you were doing the bit on Vince's video the other day, you'd literally dropped that. That's the same one where you took us into, isn't it? When we came down to see you.
Yeah.
And you dropped that down to like maybe 3-4 inches of water left in bottom.
And Sean was still
that was
struggling with that.
completely empty. Yeah, 100% empty, and we fill it.
That's what we're just going to ask. So then you won't leave the last little bit in there. You completely drain out, start fresh, and off you go again.
Yeah.
Well,
So we would drop in mature water from the other system into that pond because that's had fishing all winter. So
so
basically the phosphates and nitrates would be through the roof in that water. So that just fertilizes our next pond.
Like they would do with tropical fish tanks. If you wanted to get another one up and running straight away, you'd seed it by squelching out another sponge into that, so it seeds the filter media straight away, and you're off back.
Same thing. Pretty much.
Right, Graham Wright's just asked a question. So, gents, where does that leave you with food when it says on the tin you can feed that growth food from 15 degrees? Does this mean that we should not use it till 18 to 20 degrees?
Yeah, and above.
And above.
I mean, the optimum for me when I'm growing, and this is personally for me, when I'm growing on toastai and stuff, the optimum temperature for me is between 24 and 26 degrees. That I've found has been the one that gets the most consistent growth across the board.
It's the safest temperature.
But spare me 1 second, chaps. I'm just going to pop to the bathroom. You can.
No, I need a wee first.
Yeah, you can carry on having this quick discussion about what you think needs to be, or if you want me to give you another topic.
That's a good topic.
That's a good topic.
You still have that one. No.
Go on, Ricky.
So, but basically, what it's saying is it's safe to feed at 15 degrees. So it's fine to feed at 15 degrees and above. You're not going to do any damage, but you're not getting the benefit from that extra protein, that food that you would do at a growing temperature. There's lots of stuff banded about koi, and 24 to 26 degrees is a great window for growing koi. They will grow quick, but your filter works at its best in that kind of window. Oxygen levels are good at that kind of window. For toastai, realistically, we found probably nearer 30, 32 degrees is a better temperature, but you're walking a fine line then.
I used to panic when mine hit 30 degrees in the old filter shed.
Yeah, and I bet they're growing like crazy, crying out the window.
They probably well were.
They'll love it, but you're going outside of the window where the bacteria in your filter want to work. The oxygen levels are dropping off, so you're going into like a dangerous zone. So the fish will grow better. My tunnel we were in the other day, that will hit 36, 37 degrees water temperature, and that's where I have to put on the heat to cool it. And they love it, but you're right on a line where the water can't hold enough oxygen for the filter and the fish, and you can go from fish going crazy feeding to next morning dead. You're right on that window. So we always recommend 24, 26 degrees. You will get phenomenal growth, and it's safe. You start going beyond that, you're going into the realms of it's not so unsafe, but you've got to know what you're doing, and you can destroy colours, you can destroy Benny, you're right in the window of stress. So
definitely.
You've got to
I found because the feeding was more ravenous at them higher temperatures, the filter needed cleaning a lot quicker, a lot more at a time. You see what I mean? So as opposed to it on the small tank, on the regime that I was on, instead of doing it every 5th day, I was doing it every 3rd day, and that was because it had gone past my personal temperature window. But like you say, they were feeding like fuck.
They will be, they would love it. Honestly, if you run a pond, if you could do it at 35 degrees, young koi will grow unbelievable. But you are on such a fine line, and obviously they'll grow at that speed, but the filters won't work as well at that because the oxygen levels are dropping off. It's not worth the risk to do it. The benefits, the only reason it happens to us sometimes is because of the polytunnels and the environment where you're trying to catch as much heat as you can on a hot spell. Yeah. It's too much. We're having to put shades up, run heat pumps backwards to chill ponds but the reality is 24, 26, you'll grow a centimetre a week with young koi, and the filters will be working absolutely bob on, and you're not in a dangerous zone. But you go beyond that, and they will grow. The koi will grow faster and faster, but the oxygen level gets more and more critical. The filters work less and less. pH is more fluctuates.
You're right on a nice edge on that kind of level. Then when you start,
once you hit 30 degrees,
30 degrees is kind of. It's probably optimal for the fish, but not for the filters.
No.
And then once you hit 35 degrees, you're starting to go into a window of danger. Let's cool it down a bit. But they will climb out. I remember we had CFAS turn up a few years ago we get checked twice a year for KHV, SVC, and they were checking one of our tunnels and they were putting their probes in for temperature. And the fish were climbing. They're going, these are the most insanely happy fish we've ever seen. And then he looked at his thermometer and went, by textbook, they should be dead. And it was 30 degrees. And he goes, they should be dead. So, and I'm like, but it's just when when all conditions are correct, they love it. But obviously, you're right on the, their algae collapses in that pond, or you have a thunderstorm and the air pressure drops, or the air pumps pack up. Yeah, you're right on that. Those fish that are super, super happy will be super dead pretty quick. That's not we're trying to achieve. It just sometimes it happens, and you have to do what you can and stop feeding if you get to that temperature, because everything they eat, they need more oxygen, and obviously the bacteria that's looking after them needs more oxygen, and the oxygen's not there. So if we hit those kind of temperatures, obviously all feeding ceases, even though the fish are climbing out the water for it. And it's, so 24, 26, good. Go down that route. Safe.
When we get 5 minutes, Daz, throughout this bank holiday weekend, mate, or when you've got 2 hours spare, you need to watch Vince's last video. You want to see the amount of, is it Daphne? Was it Daphne you were feeding?
Baby brine shrimp.
Baby brine shrimp. God damn, Daz. You need to get a big bag of
kilos.
What was it you said? Was it 100 quid's worth a day?
So when we're running flat, it's 400 litres of full-on shrimp. So that's 1.1 kilo of cysts. So that's basically trade us up to us 110 quid a day just for the cysts.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that, scoop, and they were just getting that, mate, and they were the little fry were.
We can only do that.
It blew my mind.
It's such a small window when you can feed enough. So, it sounds like a lot, 400 litres of shrimp a day, but the fish eat exponentially more every day. And the minute you haven't given them all enough, the big ones eat the small fish, and before you know it, it's all gone. So they're in that window for another 5 days we've got, and then they'll be going out into whatever ponds, split up, move down, whatever. Because they're when they're right, they just grow staggering every day. They're growing and eating more.
Well, if I can get mine going on the brine shrimp, if it can last them long enough, I've got so much Daphne. It's unbelievable. I've been feeding them every 2 days with the spirulina. They're just I bet they've easily quadrupled since you were there, Gaz, the weekend.
Oh wait, shit, man, there were a hell of a lot in there when we were looking at weekend.
The
temperatures are rising up, and they just start breeding like crazy. But we had a look at them. We took one out and we put it under a microscope to see inside it what looked Well, it definitely was. There was eggs ready for dropping.
Yeah.
And there was what looked like another set of eggs ready to take its place for the next stage.
They
And
will, yeah.
Well, there was 12 eggs ready to go and 12 eggs, what looked like 12 eggs coming up when we paused it and had a look over there, didn't we? Which were pretty ugly buggers, though, man, under a microscope.
It's a whole new world, the whole zooplankton. People get into it and it's, absolutely mad. Absolutely mad.
All right, guys. Super nervous here, you know.
There's nothing to be nervous about. None of us know. Well, apart from
you are all.
I think that's what he's talking about.
You are all experts. I'm just a beginner.
Yeah. Switch it. Oh, this is a bit. Yeah.
Yes,
For a second, then I thought we were going to have him laid on his side.
Better than me.
All right, yeah.
You know, mate. If anybody else wants to join, not to be nervous about, mate. I've asked many a person to come on many a time.
Well, do you know what? I watch him and that, and I'm like, I'd love to go on. I've had Koi for ages, but listening to you lot, oh my God. So it just goes into your head. So I thought, well, you know, I'm a beginner. Let's have a beginner on. Look, I've got pen and paper and everything.
Right, so we've got you with your pen. Right, so your first question is, what's your favourite koi, Will?
Well,
Type.
I've got to say a Sankey because it's my big one. Me big Sankey, my best one.
Got right off you now.
Should we do that as the first one then?
I should have said butterfly, shouldn't I?
Exactly, there you go. So, Will, this week, so I want everybody, if you can do me a huge favour, send us in your pictures of your favourite Sankey that you have in your pond.
Now,
Now,
don't be blaming me.
Are we gonna go with metallic Sankey as well? So we can cook.
No, just standard.
Just standard Sankey. Right, there you go. Standard Sankey. I do have one, but it's not a very good one. Well, it is. I like it, but yeah, exactly. There we go. See, I've got one. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's one that I like. So there we go. Will, you've just chosen this week's first one, Sankey. Right. So where did you get your Sankey from?
You know what? This is the God's honest truth now. eBay. It was a little tiny one. I got it in a bundle, but it's like this now. It's massive. You've seen it, Vincent. Yeah, it's massive. It's a monster.
Yeah, it's pretty.
How long have you had it?
I've had that for how long? Oh, over 12 years. Over 12 years.
There you go. So you're doing something right, mate, to be able to keep a fish alive for 12 years. That in itself is an achievement, isn't it?
What size is it now, Will?
So go and get it. Honestly, God, it's about that big. See, that's I see. I should be saying in centimeters, shouldn't I, or cms and that. But
40 to 50 cm then.
Have you heard about the one-handed angler?
It's definitely over 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will, have you heard about the one-handed angler? He always catches a fish this big.
that big.
Yeah, like it.
Dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week. I have to give him
That joke of the week goes to Gaz.
Are we going to have it? We're going to have Dad joke of the week. I'm sure we
Yeah.
I'm sure we
Deserves it, yeah.
Dad joke of the week goes to.
There we go.
So
go on.
sorry, guys. Whilst I'm on here, sorry. Quick one for Rick. So the lad up in Liverpool. I'm not a scouser, by the way, but
Yeah, you are.
I've lived up here long enough. But a lad up here, he bought a bundle off Rick from New Forest, right? A bundle of, and I got 10 off him because he couldn't handle them all. He couldn't. But they're boss. They're amazing.
Thank you. I don't know what to say.
But yeah, do you know what you're sending out, or do you just like bundle them up, scoop them up?
Yeah, we know everything we're sending out to some point because we know the parents and what we've bred, but I don't know what you've got from someone else. That's, yeah. So we know, everything that goes out. We know what's going out and what grade it's going out and what parents it's from, or So if you had pictures of you,
pictures, Will.
then I might be able to say they're from this parent, that parent, or oh my God, where did they come from? 'Cause,
Yeah.
it depends on what size they've gone out. If they've gone out as fry, then they've just gone out from parent sets, and you get the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And these are well good.
Glad to hear it. I don't know.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what you want, see?
What scares me is we send out over. It's normally about 350,000 koi a year, give or take, for the last 10, 15 years. So we're talking 3 million, 5 million koi have gone from our farm to this country. Of all shapes and sizes. Where they go, and it just blows my mind, really. I know, obviously, when they go out small, people lose fish or whatever, but there must be vast quantities. But it doesn't matter how good a parents we use, there's still a lot of fish that, if you buy and fry, that would normally be culled off. But obviously, when they go to private buyers, they grow them all on, and then they get passed round to friends, family. So there must be huge numbers of fish that have originated from us that end up all over.
Have you ever
Something that shocked me, sorry guys, something that shocked me that something you said Tuesday was the fact that you actually spawn fry for other koi farms.
We do. Other people. There's obviously you've got koi farms, you've got Cuttlebrook and Adam, but you've got bigger koi farms, but there's probably another 30, 40 small koi farms that do X amount of fish and sell them on all around the country, and they might do 10, 20,000 fish a year. They're some are CFAS registered, some aren't, but they're beyond hobbyists. They've got multiple ponds on site. Some grow them on and they sell them in their own garden centres. Some sell them through their trade. So I'm not saying I'm supplying, koi farm. I'm saying I'm supplying other koi farms that are smaller. Is where I'm going. Because we do so much breeding and we've got so much choice of parent stock. You've got 2 mud ponds in your garden, and you could say, actually, I want to buy 1,000 Shishui and 5,000 Harawaki from us. It's easier than trying to do it yourself. That's where I was going. So we do. We supply unfertilized eggs and whatever, different places, different people.
Oh, I know, Rick. Sorry, I know. Like a breed, a few of them. There's definitely like Tag and a Kuhaku. But Dino said to me that on one of my videos that it's a cuckoo. It's white and black. Cuckoo.
Come on, bro.
Probably.
Yeah.
Come on, we do quite a lot of Commonwealth.
That one, yeah.
Is it Deutsch or is it scaled?
It's Deutsch Commonwealth, is it? It's scaled. It's Matsu Kawabaki.
Yeah, no, I'm asking you what fishes.
I'll have to send you a video, Vince.
Has it got the black and white one, Will? Has it got scales or is it smooth skin?
Come back,
Now, if it's got scales, then it's a Matsu Kawabaki.
Yeah.
If it's Deutsch, scaleless, then it's a Kumonru. If it's got red on it, then it's a Benny Kumonru.
Scaleless.
Scaleless, right. So it's a Kumonru.
So it's a Kumonru.
That's a fish.
Wait.
That's a fish that you can enjoy, mate, because it's going to change. Its pattern will change regular.
He's got it.
Away. I like this live. It's all right, isn't it? You have to give me a second.
No, you're all right. Are you actually trying to find a picture?
How's your spawning? You done spawning yet? I see you put them in the
5.
Got 5 gone.
Got 2 more on the go tonight. I've got the big Ogon monster, I call her. She's a whale. And the big Yamabuki male in with her, and Ginrin Chag. So I'm hoping for some Ginrin metallics off those. And I've got the Karashi hopefully spawning tonight. They're all chasing around each other, so I'm hopeful that they'll both spawn.
Busy
Are you
night.
good?
Yeah,
Kahaku yet?
That's just
yeah, I've
what
still
we
got a
know.
big Kahaku to go yet.
What about the big mirror? Are you gonna put anything back to that again this year?
Yeah, I'll do that last. When I've done all my other spawns, I'll do that last. See what space I've got left.
Yeah, not so much.
What are you putting in with the big Kahaku?
At the moment, I'm thinking of putting me 2 Sankey males in and
What?
in Chag.
What,
there's
what a waste of a
pretty
beautiful
Kahaku.
fucking Kahaku female. Putting 2 male Sankies in with it.
Because I haven't got a male Kahaku, that's why.
Have you got a male shower?
No. Well, I have, but the
Oh.
30 cm.
It's only a bend. He's got fish to come on to grow on to get into these positions, but they're just not.
They're not
They're only
quite big
weak
enough.
hook.
Yeah, I can't believe you're going to waste that beautiful Kahaku on a Sanky.
Well,
Well,
I'm going for a toilet break.
I am in
To be
talks
fair-
with a guy for a big Kahaku male at the moment, so we shall see. Depends if that pans out.
to be fair, she wants to spawn because I mean I don't know. I think Daz was told that she did spawn. Was it last year?
Yeah. Last year, yeah.
But whether or not she did a proper full spawn,
I
you
think
know
she
if it
did. Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
So then that's the first time she'd ever spawned, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Ideally, yeah. I mean, yeah, it'd been nice if you could have done a Kahaku, wouldn't it? And had a
No,
true
it would. But I haven't got about 800 quid to spend out
No,
on
I
a
know.
Kahaku at the moment.
That's the difference. At the moment, what you're doing is having fun in it. So
Yeah.
it's still a ghost Sankey. So technically, it should still produce some Kahaku.
It will produce some Kahaku. I've
Oh,
done
yeah,
it
it was still
before.
just Kahaku.
You'll get probably 50% of Kahaku, and the rest will be Aka bloody Sankies, normal Sankies, and Beckos.
You mean Akabekos and...
Yeah, squash tomatoes, as we call them.
We call them squash tomatoes. Yeah, but to be fair, though, mate, you had a few. Rick had a few squash tomatoes. Akabekos, didn't
Yeah.
he? In what you were going through the other day.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, that's some of your squash tomatoes
Yeah.
weren't too bad. Looking at some of them.
Maybe I was a bit hasty getting rid of them.
Yeah. But he was saying, when you were saying something about if you're actually going for a spawning them, you know, because you were saying, have you ever thought about actually doing one on your Vincent video? An actual spawning of them.
Oh,
The Akabeko.
what's going on?
Have it?
Why would you want to spawn them?
I'm sure you were talking about is there demand for them? I'm sure there was something like that. Or was that another time? Another spawn?
What, for Bekos?
I'd have to go back through it and have a watch of it. But I'm sure you said something like that. Maybe I got mixed up with
I
something.
think Gaz has had a bang to the head today.
But no, I know he had some Deutsch Beko. They were stunning.
Oh yeah, Beckos, yeah, but not Aka Beckos.
No?
So that's me.
Maybe I've been dreaming.
Ricky's got
Yeah,
some lovely Hitsuri.
Oh no, yeah, I saw that. But yeah, they were stunning. Absolutely beautiful.
Right, got him.
Some lovely. There we go. What we got?
Right, hang on.
Away up.
If I press play. Can you see?
Yeah,
That looks like a Matsuba.
that's not a Kumon route.
It's not a Kumru, no.
Can you
He
put
looks
it
like-
on big screen, Gaz?
Nope.
I can't because he's
He's
on his
filthy.
iPad. Oh, I can make him full screen on his own. Yeah. 1 sec.
Got some metallic Chagway in there. They look all
Hello,
right.
the boss army.
The boss, aren't they?
Yeah.
I like the dog. Do they come in the mix as well, the little dogs?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Right, let's see if we can get the zoom back in on it again.
Yeah, I know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were some of the ones Vince was so excited about. So they're from one of Mark Gardner's parents, Cross. Nice.
So what's the black and white one?
That looked like a Kin Matsuba from a Kajaku. So yeah,
So it's
Kin
a
Matsuba.
Kin Matsuba, mate.
Thank you very
To be
much.
fair, actually, Gin Matsuba because it's silver.
yeah.
In.
I was going to correct him, but I knew he'd catch up in the end.
To be
It's
fair,
that
I'm
lava's
surprised
going
he
to your head, isn't it, Mush?
Yeah, it's only Heineken. It's all right. But yeah, they're done. Yeah, I know where they're from. The two lots you got there.
Oh, great.
Nice little fish.
So the box is long time.
Pretty cool, that, isn't it? To just be able to turn around and look at 60 of fish in a bowl and go, yeah, I know exactly what they've come from. God damn,
Yeah,
we got some practice in, mate. A heck of a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
those the metallic chagua are nice, but they've come from Beni Kikakuru cross Kajaku.
Freaking hell, like
Mental.
You would never expect that to come out.
No.
Like that.
But we saw some Tuesday, and they're pretty fish.
Oh, wow. Yes. I got a couple of really nice ones that I'm going to be moving into the growing on tank soon.
You did. You took a whole range of them, didn't you, from the same lot?
Yeah, I had five different from the same spawning. There was the two grey with the greeny, goldy, yellow markings on them. There was the metallic Matsukau
I put
metallic Achiba, and there was the one that looks like a metallic Sankey, but you said isn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know the fish. You'll get them on video soon. The good
Yeah,
fish.
get to see them grow, see what they come up, what they become.
Oh yes.
Right.
So give them another week or so in quarantine, and then they'll get moved into the temperature tank and get pushed.
MGH Coy's asked us a question which says, what's the best preparation when buying koi fry and how to raise them, setup wise, I would guess. And obviously, Rick, seeing as you're the man that provides a heck of a lot of them, you will be the man that could tell us. I mean, technically, MJH, all you need is, like our Vince did, a small environment, throw loads in there and watch them grow, because they did like hell last year, man, didn't they? They grew like steam. They really did. But
Good, just simple. Keep them. If depending on the age you buy them, we do 2-week-olds that need live food, and we do 6-week-olds that are onto our crumb food. But keep them on their own. Keep them warm. Keep the water good, and they will just fly. Literally, they're so easy when done right. Don't put them in a cage. Don't put them with other fish. Don't put them in a pond. Just separate, warm as you can, and just keep the water good with filtration, which is the difficult bit. Obviously, when they're small, is not sucking them in pumps, drains, and whatever. But yeah, generally, if they're good, they're coming from us basically in a sterile, so they got no help. So you shouldn't lose any. As long as you keep the water right, they will just fly, and the food right, and then you'll get to a point where you overstock your tank quite quickly, and then you've got to sort them out, grade them down, thin them down.
Yeah.
Thin them down is king. So the minute you get them to 2 inches long, and you can say keep that one, and that one, and get rid of the rest, then those good ones will again fly again. And it's not rocket science, but yeah, once you try and get clever and put them in a cage in your main pond, or pump water from your main pond with your other fish into another, it just doesn't work. Just it can work, but it's not consistent. Yeah, it's just if you want consistent results, you need to create an environment that will consistently be good for said fish size, whatever.
Routine.
Yeah, and the live food, to be honest, the 2-week-olds, if you can hatch brine shrimp, then that is king. So your hardest bit is producing the food, not looking after the fish. Kind of the fish. If you give them the food, the fish look after themselves.
Yep,
that's king. But once they're up to 3/4 of an inch long, and you can start weaning them onto. The problem is all the fry diets, even the stuff we use, is so high protein that you will destroy the water quality. You'll destroy the fish build, gill. So many things go wrong as soon as you try and use those feeds. It's unbelievable. It all knocks on. So unfortunately, when you're trying to rear them in a small environment, you go from, they're now big enough and they'll eat this crumb, but that crumb is 10 times more sort of potent than the live food in terms of the amount of stuff in it that will pollute the water and cause grief. They don't eat it as well. They don't digest it as well. The ammonia level's as good as you think you're doing. It's only got to come up for a little bit and you'll damage the gills, the gill plates, everything. So live food, and again, lower protein foods. We're experimenting with carrot powder at the minute as a food randomly. It seems wrong, but lower protein foods are a lot safer and easier. As long as everyone's getting some food and all grown evenly, that's much better than the sort of higher protein foods.
Get some carrots from the Asda.
Literally, you'll be amazed. Honestly, what we use would blow most people's because we learned without the internet. We learned from trial and error, from filtration, from rearing fish, from producing Daphnia to whatever, and we found ways that work.
Spirulina, would that be any good for fry?
Do what?
Spirulina powder, is that any good for fry?
No, it's too fine, and it will cause deformation if you feed too high. It's not. It's basically blue-green algae, which you try and avoid in high amounts. So in small amounts of food, yes, it's where the keratin always come from for the color, but which is where we use different stuff to keep the water good is the main thing, and just keep the fish. If you can keep them all nutritionally balanced evenly, then you'll get a crop of fish that grow evenly. As soon as you start introducing again the high protein fry foods, you might find 10% of the fish take it and do okay. They will then fly, and the other 90% get left behind or eaten. And technically in a lab they might work. This food is perfect to do this, but to get that into all of the fish even, it's really difficult, which is where live food wins. If you can put them out into natural ponds where you've prepared the food, you can put 20,000 fish in a pond and get 19,950 back out at an inch long. If the food's wrong, that doesn't work. And if you try and do it with artificial food in an intensive environment, sometimes you can keep them all, but generally you'll find that you've got deformations across the board. And you don't see those until they're bigger. So it's a challenge, and obviously space. We go from the hatcheries, which I don't know, 20,000 gallons of water in the hatcheries, and they're in there for 10 days. Then they go out to 200,000 gallons. You exponentially 10 times each time you go through them, and that's the only way of doing it. I suppose consistently. It works for us, but what works for us, you've got to find what works for you. But when we sell the fry, if you take in 250 fry and you put them in an IBC tank, you run it at 23 degrees, you keep the water good, and you've given them a nice amount of live food, and they will all flourish. And then your first point of call is when the tank becomes overstocked, and you've got to go, well, those 50 fish are worth keeping, and the other 200. Yeah, you've got to be.
You've got to be pragmatic about it.
You've got to go through them. The quicker you fit them down, the better your end product will be, as long as you keep the right one. And that's the problem. A lot of people are scared throwing away the good ones or giving away the good ones and keeping the right. and that comes from
It
experience.
takes you a couple of seasons to get your eye to know what to look for.
It's Generally,
Each variety is different.
Each variety is different, but the concepts, the body shape, the luster patterns, generally, you can see that to some degree. Whenever you put a bunch of fish in a tray or a bowl, a few of them will be stand out.
Yeah, straight away.
And there
Your
you
eyes
go.
go straight to them out there, and then you think, "Oh, that's good. That's the one that's got to come out."
It gets difficult if you go in. If you're going to breed a bunch of chagoi, then it's much more difficult to find those.
One pretty much like the other. You're just looking at body shapes rather than what else, aren't you?
But that's where a koi. Obviously, we're still beginners, 30 years, and we're miles behind. And those farms that have been doing a bloodline for 3 generations of people, so 100, 150 years, it's just second nature to them. They'll put the fry out, they'll bring up the kahakus, and everyone in that family can pick out the 1 or 2% to keep, because they've seen them for generations, haven't they? But that's the fun of it. Every year we learn, and I love doing new patterns. And this year we're doing even more than ever, thanks to Vince and his.
It's all your fault, Vince.
It'll be interesting though, Ricky, to see what come from it, because, like you said, straight away, the one that you've done, and that's the one that everybody picked.
That's a freak. I've done so many crosses over the years.
It's come with 2 colour patterns from
Dot, which is. That I've bred so many fish over the years, and I can't recall any. They always hatch a color: white, orange, black, grey, a base color for the variety. And these have literally hatched. Occasionally you see it. We're here at series and stuff, but you'll have some orange. Most of the fry are orange, most of them are black. But you get a few two-tone. But these hatched, lots of literally a uniform two-tone hatch, which is weird to say the least, but doesn't mean they're going to be good. I've been doing koi a lot of years.
No, it's certainly from literally doing it, it's a new experience for yourself, isn't it? As well as we all get to see what's going to become of them. I mean, like you said, they might all be beautiful, mate. They might be something totally different. They might be all completely horrible, and everybody thinks that's goddamn disgusting. But no, you don't know until they start seeing some telltale signs of what you're going to be looking for.
It's just that when obviously your base color with koi is where the variety starts. So you showers start black, or your at series start black, and all your kahaku start orange. You've got now black and orange start point. How do you even? How do you start?
Right, we've got one other question again from Kushti Koi. Says, sinking food or floating food?
Mix of both.
For what? Again, it's in a commercial sense. Yes, we use both to some degree, but for your pond at home where you want to see the fish feed and make sure they're happy, generally, if you've only got 10 or 12 fish in your pond, then you probably want to use floating food. Like Vince is saying, both. So everyone gets a chance and whatever, but you'll get some fish that always want to prefer feeding off the bottom, and you'll never see them because they just stay down.
Stay down there when it comes to
stay down there out of the way. I use both. I use floating food, which is soaked, so some of it sinks, and that way you get less crazy competition on the top, so you get less damage. So you're feeding the whole water column and everywhere, rather than just one patch where 300 fish just annihilate each other trying to get food. So
I've blended up. Vince told me to get some of that Takasumi, and I've got some, and I've blended it all up with a blender, and threw it in for the. I've just lashed all them babies in the Nitsai or the Tosai, whatever they are. I've lashed them in the main pond now. I've only got one pond, but I've blended up that Takasumi so it does sink, and the feed, and even the big ones, they're going more down to the bottom now. I don't know because of the temperatures, but Yeah.
The problem is they will prefer to feed off the bottom. So you'll
Yeah.
encourage, if you're not careful, you'll encourage them all to feed off the bottom, and then you don't really get to see them. One of the best bits of koi keeping is when they're all on the
Yeah.
top and you get to see them. But yeah, certainly.
But the natural place is to feed on bottom, isn't it?
That's where they're designed to feed off the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Guys,
where people feed.
I'm at me deck here. So listen, Gaz, thank you very much for having me on, and thanks very much. You've made me day.
You're more than welcome. Anytime you want to come on.
I'm at me deck. I'll go back to watching news. I've got to take my meds anyway. So I appreciate it. Thanks all.
Nice
well.
Cheers.
Catch you later, mate.
Cheers,
Anybody
bro.
else want to jump on with us? Feel free. Right, we've got sinking foods. They've got the pluses and the negatives, haven't they? Obviously.
Yeah.
Sink, they're going to go down to bottom. You're not going to get to see them come to top to feed. Floating, not everybody gets some of the smaller stuff. The smaller pellet with a combination of both sinking and floating, which is what I feed. So then some get to go down, some get to come up. Some get to feed wherever they want. I know I'll change that subject right quick. Your first question for this evening is, what's the most important factor when buying new koi? Is it type, pattern, growth potential, cost, breeder, behavior, or quality? Now there you go. That's a lot of
ifs.
But to me, honestly, breeder don't make a difference. I don't think for me. Behavior, well, I think behavior can be changed and will change when they get in with the environment of your fish.
Yep.
In time, they'll settle down, they'll calm down. They're always a bit spooked out there for those first few months when you put them in. Quality. We'd all like to have the best quality we can have. And I think your quality comes to how much you can afford from your pocket.
But I will argue that one. The size of your pocket doesn't have to determine whether it's good quality or not.
I think, I have to agree with. We get the reason. Obviously, I put this
If you
question
can only
out there.
afford a £3.50 fish, you're buying small ones that could potentially change to be something that's not as it gets bigger. If you can afford to buy a £350 fish, you pretty much know what that pattern's going to be like throughout the rest of its life. That's what I mean by price-wise. Depends what. But if you're buying little ones and you're growing them on, you could buy cheap and get that absolute belter.
Yeah.
You
It's a
could.
gamble.
It is.
The reason I asked this question is we get so many people. So we get people that come to our shop that want like the behaviour. So they want to come and get a chagoi, not because they like chagoi, because someone's told them it will be tame and it will make all the other fish in your pond tame. So they'll come and buy a chagoi, whether they want one or not or whatever. We got other people that will come and size is the important factor, regardless of quality. Or so that there's every single one of those reasons we have people come to us to buy fish for those reasons.
Yeah.
And no other real reason other than that reason. But for me, it's interesting to know why they want to come and buy fish from us or why they don't want to buy fish from us, or and you can say breeder makes no difference to you and a lot of other people, and yet if you put a Donichi label on a fish, then there's a lot of people that will want to buy it and pay a lot more for it, regardless of the quality of that fish or the potential of that fish.
Yeah.
Because of the name.
Yeah, because of the name, and they do the best fish.
Ricky Doo-Doo.
So Ricky Doo-Doo, so he does. But at the end of the day, they do some stinkers too. So
same with clothes, isn't it? You're paying for the label.
It is. I think. Well, out there in all walks of life, there's the kind of person that might drive a Ford Fiesta, and there's the kind of person that has to have the top of the range make. They both go at the same speed that we're allowed to travel at. All right, you might get there with a little more class than others, or you might not get there at all. But at the end of the day, they both get you from A to B, don't they? And they do the same thing. Drive on four wheels, and they've got an engine in front and seats for you to sit in. They all do the same thing. But I think there's always that element of, if you've got a bit more money, you tend to spend a bit more. If you've got less money, you tend to be a bit more, what's the word?
Frugal.
Conservative.
That's the one, frugal.
See, I'd disagree a bit there, because I think the people that come to us with the passion, but maybe less money, will spend more time making sure their choice of fish is the best they can get. And we have other people that have got just ridiculous amounts of money, and they don't really care what the fish is for.
I know it's people, Rick, that they're buying fish because they want them, or they're buying fish because it's a statement to have in the garden, so it looks like they've got everything that everyday English country garden should have. Do they really want fish?
Yeah. But so in what I'm trying to get is, what's the overriding factor for the general koi hobbyist? Because obviously cost is massive. It is the massive overriding factor. You're not going to pay £1,000 a fish if you can't afford £1,000 of fish. It's not going to happen. But yeah, so things like behaviour seem crazy, but actually some fish are tame. Some fish will have a different personality than others.
Yeah.
So you'll see a fish that's got a spot on its nose and a black eye, and you fall in love with that fish, regardless of how bent its tail is or short and fat that fish is. Everyone has a reason for perhaps buying the fish, or I mean,
prime example. Last night when me and Mike were watching Vince's video, and there were two fish in that bowl, mate, that both me and Mike went, wow. And all right, they weren't some of the biggest stuff, and they weren't the kahaku that you were picking out, and you seemed to be putting most of those kahakus into one particular bowl. And then you were taking the other ones to the next bowl, which were the next size, to go in the next size growth pond. They went in there, but to me, I would have picked that over any one of those kahakus, just because it was something different. So the bit where you say pattern, I think pattern's an individual thing, isn't it? I think there is the set pattern that everybody says a kahaku should be this way, X, Y, and Z, or Hiyatsuri should be like this, the step pattern, the nice, balance. But I think a lot of the time people pick truly what they particularly like.
as it should be, though, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
But the split we were doing on those fish wasn't on necessarily on quality. It was on the ponds. If you don't grow fish,
It wasn't quality size.
It doesn't work.
For growth size, wasn't it? For bigger ones were going into one, the next size down were going to another. But there were one in there that both me and Mike were like, he's got to pick that. He's got to pick that. Is he going to pick that? He's gonna pick that? And then you did. We're like, yes, that's good. Can't love to see what that fish becomes. Because it were, to me, that was something different. It was unique to anything else. And that, like when you said earlier, when you look at a bowl, the first thing you see and you go, ooh, now that would have been my fish. I would have gone, wow, that's something I think is unique and interesting. But it might not be everybody's cup of tea. If you mass produced them in the sense of, and you had loads of them and everybody thought, yeah, every pond has one of these, I need one of them. It wasn't that type of fish. But for me, a one-off fish like that is more unique and something I'd like to have. So I suppose it just all depends on your take on it, doesn't it? And what you actually think to them. It's like the fish I got from Vince, same thing.
But that's kind of where the question lies, isn't it? That I've put out there, that actually each one of those points has got a valid. People buy fish for that reason.
Yeah.
And
type, growth, potential, cost, breeder, behaviour, and quality. And every single person that walks in might pick a single fish for any one of those type of qualities.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's bizarre, but you think it should be quality, really. But when I say quality, it doesn't necessarily mean high-end price quality. The quality of, if you look at a vat of 100 fish and they're all 50 quid, there will be a range of qualities in there.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely.
Prime example, Vince. The Ginrin Asagis. They were all nice fish in there, mate. but we both sat and went through. I went through and I was looking, and when you were looking, and you were picking yours, and then I said, mate, that's melting. That's perfect. That's absolute. And then we pretty much looked and thought, oh, there's another 2 or 3 there that are very good, equally as good. We pulled it out, and I took one that was a little bit smaller than the other 2, just to get that better Ginnerin pan. We both walked out with the fish.
They looked identical.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, they were stunning.
But that's the difference in quality as well, isn't it? So there's 100 fish in that tank, and immediately you're seeing you've got more knowledge than perhaps some people, or maybe less. So you're picking what you deem to be the best quality for a tenner. And it's a bargain. I mean, that fish in 2 years' time, you won't get for 300 quid anywhere else, isn't it? Really? That an Asagi's not going to change that much. It literally is going to still be the bet. You know, the red's going to be in the same place or better. Ginnerin is still going to be that same. So you spent time to pick the best of the bunch. We'll have another person walk in, and one will have a red dot on its nose, and that'll be the only red on it, or like that one, or the biggest one, or so we'll sell all of them, won't we?
That's Daz's best thing. That one. To some people it does. I mean, to a lot of people, but
that's the beauty of it, though, surely.
You go for the body shape and you go for the size, and then I think you really, technically, pattern-wise, follows, doesn't it? You go for the shape, the size, and then if you like the pattern, that makes up your mind. And 9 times out of 10, I know which fish you're going for before you even picked it. I suppose you might be able to say the same for me, though, because you pulled one at Adam Byers and turned around and went, no, guys, look at that fish there. It got a love out on its side, and the Chibu got a love out on it. And he knew what I would have picked out of that van. And I suppose when you spend a bit of time with each other, you're going around looking at koi play, you get to know each other's thoughts and picking process, don't you?
Hey, we had a Kahaku Tuesday that had a love art on its head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, that's very much like my shower. That shower's got kind of a love heart pattern on its head as well.
Yeah, and show like.
Yeah, so it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, let's see if we'll have a quick look through these, because I'm sorry, guys, but as we've now moved into this questions and talking and discussing, I do tend to do a lot of ignoring the comments, and I apologise for. I'm not genuinely trying to do it. I like to, as Chris Figures there says, buy what you like and think you'll like it in 5 years' time. Which,
makes kind of sense.
But I think inevitably when we all start, we just want some fish in his ponds. When you first become a koi hobbyist, you just want fish in your pond. And that's why most koi hobbyists then eventually think, I've got a crap of wacky in my pond, because you didn't really know any better. You just thought, that fish is a nice fish at the time. And as it happens now, you know better, and that fish is not quite what you want, but equally a decent pond filler, not too bad. You know what I mean? It's that you progress in the hobby, you progress with it. Your choices become different. You look at fish in a different manner. You know what you're looking for and what you're expecting to get, and then you think all of a sudden, right, well, all my fish are naff. I need to replace them all.
Yeah,
but to somebody starting out, they're not, are they? They're beautiful. Or they're beautiful in their own way, because you like them anyway.
People have the money to spend on decent fish, do they? It's only when you really get into it later on that you consider paying like £200 or £300 for a single fish. To start with, you want the whole lot for that.
It gets crazy.
If it's healthy and it's swimming around upright, then that's all that matters when it comes to buying any fish for himself. That's you're not all that particular about type, quality, or whatever. If it's healthy, good body shape, and it's upright swimming, you're having it. Easily pleased, but not everybody's the same. Crafty says there, totally agree with the Chad comment. It's very common in my shop as well.
but that's the behaviour thing. It's just
Yeah.
people want that friendly fish.
Do you
And
think
it's not so
true
much that it's friendly, it's just a fucking greedy twat.
Just read it, yeah.
exactly that? And I was just going to say the same thing. Is it really that they're friendly? Are
Yeah.
they really friendly?
100%. There's
Yeah.
when in the breeding. So of all the varieties we do, they will all have different behaviours. So the Shishuis, for example, will very rarely, if we put them in a mud pond, they'll feed off the bottom. They won't come up. They're very difficult to get tame. A Chagoi has no fear. In fact, it's been bred out of them, the fear factor. So they're very greedy, very fast growing, and yet they'll just commit suicide when a heron comes near, or they have you can catch them in a net and they go, "Oh, you caught me. Can I have some food now?" And that's not.
Carry.
A bit like Dad's with his trifle.
So you have
Yeah,
varieties,
the fish world, aren't they?
Yeah, if you put a net under some of the Hitsui we breed, you put a net under them, they will take off. They literally.
I'd agree with that.
Different thing. So,
I'm the first one to come. If I get into the pond to move my lilies around, the Chag's the first one to come to me.
yeah, it's not just greedy. They're that fear, that natural instinct of flight has been bred out of them generally. So they don't. There is no flight. They're just hello.
Have you got food?
Yeah. Which is great in your pond, but it's terrible as a fish farm where you've got predators about. And we soon learned we can't do Chagoi in our mud ponds. They're just unbelievable. They commit suicide. Literally, we can't deal with them in the mud. But Shishuis and Asagis we could put out and know every single one will evade predators, no problem. So, and it's a balance. Some fish will readily feed in the group.
What about the Karashigoi?
They're very similar, but they've got a bit more, slightly more brains. So Karashigoi haven't got the black gene in them, which is why we breed them a lot, because you don't get the shimmies and the dark problems you get with the Chagoi, but they actually have more of an awareness about them. So they're very tame, but they will spook away when something comes along. You find the Platinums and the Goshki are two varieties that will always feed at the back of the pack. They will always grow slower, and they will never be the first. They just don't have the same appetite or growth stimulation.
Was that the Goshki?
The Goshki and the Platinums, both the same. So we can have a pond of fish of a mix, and you can almost see varieties, how they line up and how they grow. And if you take the Platinums out and grow them separate, they'll grow really well. But you put them in a combination where they've got to compete. They haven't got the competition gene in the proper Platinums. You know, the real proper bright, shiny ones don't. And the Goshki are the same. They're really, you could literally see the variety lined up. Those that are willing to come and feed right up to you, and those that will stay back and eat the food from further back. And the growth rates normally reflect that. Unless you separate them and grow them separately, you get this sort of split in variety as well as, and that comes from the parents use everything.
It's almost like a hierarchy then in the feeding.
Almost, but it's just that willingness and the competition, and each individual slightly different. But there's some varieties, and even in Sankis we breed different. The Momotaro Sankis we breed are very strong, fast-growing fish, whereas we've got some old Sedazzo line Sankis that are totally different, and they will not compete. They haven't got the same genetic growth, the same strength. They won't compete, and you end up they'd split poles apart if you put them together. And it's just in that the genetics of those lines, how they behave and what they do and how they'll grow. You keep them separate, you can grow them pretty much the same speed in perfect environments, but you put them together, different worlds. They're just not. They haven't got the same in them, and that's genetics play a massive role in that, in their behaviour as well. Which is, some people don't sort of perhaps grasp that or believe that we can get this Uchiba or this Chagoi super hand tame. You can pick it up, put it back. You try and do that with most other varieties, It's
No.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
I've
So
got a Makashi I can do that too.
Makashi, yeah, that's just an old. Basically, Makashi just means old Ogon. It's an old, like, almost not ghost cart, but it's that ilk, old school Ogon. They grow massive, super. They've got the growth genetics in them to grow super fast, super big, because they haven't got the refined. Some of them have now, but they haven't got the refined nature of a Yamabuki that's super clean without any darkness or whatever. The Makashis, some of them aren't much different to Ghost Cart, and that's where it's just old Ogon. That's where they come from. That's the line of them, and it's been refined to a point where good Makashis are a whole different world compared to where they were, but it's the same. Yeah, it's just they've gone backwards to go forwards again.
Yeah. You know that fish that we were talking about, as me and Mike were watching, just to get it in for him, is like, it's there, it's branded now. He's dibsed it, mate. So I'm going to get the picture.
You have to screenshot it.
I'll screenshot it and I'll send it you through. And I'll stick his name on it, mate. When it comes out of that mud pond, you name your price, bud. You did better.
Yeah, your price fund. He's dibsed it.
You've got a bag in there. That backfired, didn't it? Right, let's have a look. With your growing shows, Gaz, was it hard to choose between a few? Well, with the growing show that I did, mate, I actually picked 3. I had 3 fish that I were interested in. And the first one went early doors. The second one went the minute I talked about it and somebody was listening. Paul. And then the third one that I'd picked, honestly, I told the person who got the fish that that's what I'd have. So she ended up having a fish that she wanted and that she liked, and that was hopefully going to be a nice fish for both of them. But to be fair, mate, I honestly picked a fish that I liked. I came away with a fish that I liked, but ideally, I wanted everybody else there to pick what they wanted before I got my fish. So I was happy just to be a part of it, be in it, and to pick and get. There weren't a bad fish there, so no matter what I walked out with, I would have been happy, in my opinion. But I hope that answers your question, mate. But yeah. And I love the heart koi. There you go, see. That's the other fish. The heart koi is now Dave's wife's, Dave's partner's fish. I'll let Dave have it instead.
And I hope his missus is licking. The only reason he bought that fish was because me and Gaz bullied him into getting it.
Lovely fish as well.
Oh, yeah, pretty good.
Let's see if we've got any more comments or questions. Right, we ain't got no more comments and questions in there. I think we've got one more from Buck Gav, who says, planting a raised koi pond. Planting for a raised koi pond. What's the best type of planting to use, or how to plant in a raised koi pond?
Did you see those ones I did, Gaz, out of wire that hang over the?
No, it's very similar to how Vince has done his. All Vince's
really
brackets are fastened on out there, mate, hanging over the side edge.
Yeah.
It's a very similar to the mini pond that I've got is only of an example. The liner itself has a tiny little 2 pockets that just hang over the side that are fastened to the framework that you can just suspend plants in and hang them in to grow from, and it works really well.
That's what my plants are in.
Oh, the little pot bass, yeah, the pot bass, yeah.
But all I did was I made a U out of 22mm push fit to go either end, and then I zip tied through the actual basket round the pipe to make it rigid to stop it from going all floppy.
Yeah, I agree. You can. Some of the baskets have got holes. You can literally just suspend them on water level around the outside of the pond, and the fish can't get in there. Yeah, parts that grow out. Looks right until you need to get the fish out, and they will hide underneath it. But
Yeah.
that's
First.
I don't get that problem because they're nice and small.
yeah.
So
Not fit the baskets.
I got the baskets on a shelf that I put in that grow really well, but it's the same thing. When you get anything small enough, they hide behind the back of the basket. Then you might not see it for weeks because it comes out with being small. The Yamato Nishiki has been hiding in there. And it's not now. Actually, that's one thing I would like to ask you. I figured everything's been all right. Most of the fish have been fine. All the rest of them have been in and out. But the smaller ones, all the smaller ones have all been hiding behind that back of that pot. Now, I've trekked because I got flukes. So I thought I'd give them a treatment, CT them, see if we can get rid of them. And then if that don't work, I'm going to go with the LearnX Pro. So because I'd got it, I thought we'd give it a go, give it the 4-day course. Now, everything's out. Absolutely everything. No more hiding behind back of plant pots, which was making me wonder, were they sulking a little bit? Were they hiding? They're skulking around back of plant pots because they were a bit uncomfortable and a bit, fed up, pissed off.
Probably.
Or pure coincidence that
No.
they no longer want to be hiding behind back of there because it's warming up a bit.
Probably a bit of both. But at the end of the day, if they're suffering with flukes and whatever, they're always going to. If you're not well, you're always going to hide a bit, aren't you? That's standard. If you've treated and within 48 hours the fish behaviour's changed across the board, then
all the others were fine. All the others seemed fine. Just the smaller ones seem to be more clustered and hiding.
But yeah, probably they can hide and obviously a bit more susceptible to it. Obviously, if they're new ones that have gone in, or you probably never have it's a combination, isn't it? But obviously the fact that if you've got flukes in there and you've treated them and they're happier, then they'll come out and should be starting to. Yeah, they should be out feeding. If you've got 13, 14 degrees in the pond, they should all be out looking for food. But yeah, you might have a pond where they're if they've got lots of places to hide and there's a lot of big fish in there, they probably are a bit intimidated and scared. But yeah, they should soon be out and about. And the fact that you've treated and they've come out would suggest that they would have had an issue going on. And if you left it long enough, then that's when you have dead fish behind the basket or whatever, where they've just succumbed. And
I've always seen them come out when I've been out and fed them. They've always come out, but they've been the last to come out. They've always been the last to come out, right from day one of them going in, which just made me think maybe big fish or bigger fish keep out of the way kind of thing. And then when we can get a quick sneaky bit of something to eat, we'll go grab it and off we go. But this last 2 days, it's fourth treatment's gone in tonight, and yesterday, the day before. As soon as the first treatment went in day one, from that point on, they've been out and I've come out in the morning and they've been with the majority of the rest of them, all just swimming around. And the odd occasional one where somebody comes over quick and they think, whoa, shit, get out of the way, and they'll dart and hide again, but they're straight back out. So they're a lot more confident than what they were.
That's how they should be, to be fair. And yeah, they're a shoalfish. So generally, if they feel comfortable and safe and they're not got any issues, they should be out and about happy. But yeah, you always get that again. The Deutsche Tanishi are not going to be fish that they're not fast growing fish. They're not going to be fish that are crazy, super tame. So you're going to have to get them to grow, encourage them, and give them the environment that is as good as possible, or whatever.
Pity well in my pond then if they don't grow quick.
But it's just the way it is. That's that kind of variety. So yeah, they'll be
they are pretty.
Dogs are out and about feeding. The only concern if you've got a fish hiding all the time, then
that's why I did some scrapes and had a check, and I thought this is something just not right here. I'll have a quick look, and I only found flukes that were it. So I thought, right, that's it. Get it in, get them treated, see what happens. Come weekend, be Sunday because I'm busy Saturday. On Sunday, I'll be doing a scrape again and checking them over again. And if there is any sign of anything, then we'll have to go with some LearnX Pro and give that one a smack. Get Get them done and get them gone. Sick of them. Well, not sick of them, but I'm guessing they're going to be sick of them, which is obviously not what you want in it.
The problem with flukes is they're such a big, strong parasite compared to, I can't remember, on one of the groups the other day, there was someone showing a picture of, it was a costume or something, and then, was that a fluke? I mean, a fluke is 100 times or bigger than a costume.
Oh, yeah. Way
an earthworm against a flea or whatever. It's, there's a massive difference. You're not going to miss it. But they are a very strong parasite. So there's only certain treatments that will work at the right temperature, at the right dose. And you can throw flubenzidone at them for weeks on end, and it's not going to work. Whereas praziquantel will work or whatever. So you've got to treat accordingly to make sure you eradicate them. And depending on the type of fluke, most common flukes are the live bearing flukes. So one treatment will deal with it. But you do get the egg laying type of fluke that you have to treat twice. But I don't think I've seen the egg laying type of fluke for donkeys. It's the skin fluke's more common, Jactylodyrus, which is normally one treatment with praziquantel. It takes time to work. That's the trouble. So that the active ingredient might take a week at the temperature you've got. It might take a week to kill the flukes.
Yeah.
So if you treat with it and scrape 2 days later, they'll still be there, but it doesn't mean it's not worked. It just takes time to work.
Longer process, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas something like Costia's, one hit with formalin and that should be the end of it. Each health problem has its own. Again, it's the same as anything else. Treatment and time scale, and it's all relative to dealing with it. But the fish behaviour is just king. You just. Like Vince looks at his fish 10 times a day. He must know, boom, straight away. They're happy. They're not happy. You just see it. I can walk around our farm and look at 100 ponds, and you just see it. It's not.
Yeah. That's what made me tick, because when I first put that one in, it was happy out and about with everything. And then this week, I was like, you've been in a couple of weeks now, and all of a sudden now you're hiding around back. And I even showed Vince on a little video over there, and I thought, it's always around back of here. And all these other little ones are too. And I thought, that's just something not right there. So,
but that's kind of time scale for picking up stuff going in, picking up a few flukes or whatever, and then suddenly feeling a bit crappy about life and tucking itself away. So if it's happy for a period and then goes backwards, when it should get happier, then straight away you're like, well, there's something not right. Put the treatment in, and like you say, straight away you've got an improved
result straight away. Yeah, within the 24 hours straight away. Out and about.
Observation's king, isn't it? If you a lot of people wouldn't do anything until they see a dead fish and go, "Oh, I've got a dead one now." By which time
it's too fucking late.
It's gone too far.
Obviously, it's too late, but you're right.
So I think the longer you keep fish and the more you just watch them, the quicker you pick these stuffs up. And it's just, like any animal, their behavior. Your dog, what your dog does every morning and how it behaves. And if it one morning it don't get up to see you, you think, well, that's not normal. So, there we go. Anything else we got on tonight?
Have we got any more for any more? Has everybody else got any more questions? Because I think we have.
Ricky's on a roll.
Sesky actually asked a question, but it's not really a question as in such. It's is there anybody out there close by to Seskia that would like to help volunteer, help a fiberglass pond? Now, you're a little bit far from me.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean, though. I mean, it's not so much asking for help, or it's not so much, I would imagine, for what she's done, it'd be more a case of someone giving her the
guidance
in doing it, because I'm sure what she's done, she would love to continue throughout the process to do it. But it's a daunting task when you've never done it yourself. If you want to have a go, if anybody is out there and everybody could give her an hand, or get in touch and let her know, because she's put there with her fingers crossed and a little angel symbol at the end. A volunteer to help me fiberglass my pond. So There you go. Let's get up. Fingers crossed. Somebody will come forward. I mean, I'd love to. A little bit far for me to be travelling down that way and I'd probably want somebody to probably show me how to do it. It's that long since I've done anything of that scale. I've done small jobs, but that's a bit of a different kettle of fish. That's a big, big project.
And you've got to work fast with it as well, haven't you? You've got to know what you
If in doubt, save up, wait, and get somebody to do it for your professional love. That would be my advice. Gary Webb says, question, what's your thoughts on using treatments outside the state instruct prescribed dose levels as listed in the treatment instructions? Well,
don't.
Well, again, that boils down to experience and your own pond and knowing your fish in your pond.
Yeah,
I think to some degree, there are people that say that some treatments are less than they were years ago, and that's because of EU government laws and regulations where they've taken out certain amounts of this and reduced it to this kind of amount. But it's in my eyes, it's manufacturers making sure they cover their own asses, because they don't want anybody to come along and say, "You've done this, and we told you to only do this." So it's not on us; it's on you. I think there's always going to be that element to it, but I don't know. I mean, my way of looking at it, if you're not going to use the product as it states, use the product as it states twice. That way, then you're really giving the double treatment, but
at the same time.
But not at the same time. Yeah.
The problem, a lot of the problem comes from certain products are susceptible to the type of water you're using them in. So potassium's a great example. You can't really have a dose rate with it without knowing the organic loading in the pond. And so your bottle or your packet might say 6 grams per 1,000 gallons. And if we put it in one of our highly organic, super dirty ponds, that is clear within 20 minutes. That treatment's gone within 20. And it should be really holding a good color for 6 hours or so. Because of the organic, so it just, I get the manufacturers have to put a guideline on it, and so they should. And if you're going to use a treatment for a particular thing, you're best speaking to someone that any dealer will better say, actually, formalin, you need to use it 10 mil per 1,000 gallons, which is twice the recommended dose. But if you're using it for Costia, if you don't use it at that, it will not work. Done. Or potassium, you need to use it, and it's going to create a nice color to the water for X amount of hours. And if you treat it the recommended dose, and after 1 hour it's gone, use the same dose again, and just watch the pond or whatever, and but you need to speak to someone that knows about the chemicals and what you're doing and what you're trying to treat. Because like I say, with praziquantel and flukes, you could be talking 10 days in cold temperatures for it to work. It will work, but it takes time. Whereas flubenzidol will not work at those temperatures, and so you need to speak to people that can give you proper advice.
Well, I think that statement come from a lot of people turning around and saying that you really need to be doing this at this level, you really need to be doing this at that level, you really need to be doing it at the other, when the manufacturers say not to be doing it like that at all. And then these people are also saying you treat these products, with these fish in your pond or those fish in your pond, where the manufacturer said don't do that at all. And although people are out there putting out video content, as we all do, or I do, and Vince does, I think you've got to be careful that you don't advise people to do something
100%. Yeah,
they don't or shouldn't be doing. If you're doing it, you're not doing it as an instructional video for someone to follow you and say, well, I'm doing this because Gaz's koi pond said to do it. That's not what we're doing. And personally, me, that's not what I'm doing. Whatever I do in my pond is what I do in my pond. I'm not saying that anybody at any time should do what I say because I say so. And then these people out there that's saying you should be doing this, and you should be saying you should be doing that, and then giving misinformation themselves, and then getting it all completely wrong and backpedaling and taking videos down and re-putting them back up again because they've made a hash of it themselves. So, I mean, there's a lot of confusion out there about whether or not you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. It's down to the individual what you do with your pond. It's whether or not you want to risk putting something in your pond.
I agree.
That's not necessarily what the manufacturer says. If you want to take that gamble, you take that gamble, but that's on you. If you choose to do it because someone's told you to do it, inevitably you still put the treatment in, so that's still on you.
But do you not think the advice should perhaps be don't use YouTube as your learning base?
Yeah,
pick up the
it's
phone.
like pick up the phone, speak to someone that's done it, used it, and known, and has got the
100%.
experience, that's used it for 20, 30, 40 years. And if that person can advise you the best practice of doing it, then that's the kind of person you want there, because they've learned from experience from it. It's not something you want to try learning by doing it wrong, because that experience is not something that anybody wants to be involved in. For example, if you've said, Rick, like, you know, there's things that you've learned throughout these 30, 40 years that you've been doing it, and it's things that you've found, this works, that doesn't, this does, that doesn't. It's all about experiences. And if you can't get those experiences without time saved within it. So as a koi keeper or a pond keeper, if you can turn to someone that's been keeping them for 20, 30 years and say, what's the best way to eradicate this? And how much should I use? And will you show me how to do it? That's the best way, I think.
100%.
Get that person to come and show you and do it with you. And
to be fair, every decent dealer will be on the phone. If you phone them up, they will say, we'll try not. But the trouble is, you get a lot of people that think they got a problem, and they'll go on YouTube or Google and say, I've got this problem. And you're like, okay, blah, blah. How do you know you got this problem? Well, because my fish are flicking. Hang on, but you don't know you've got flukes. What you're saying is your fish are flicking. And so you need to nail down
what it is.
Yeah, what is going on. Yeah. And that's obviously by speaking to people is people get crazy about it. It's quite
the amount of people that think bloody air bubbles are trichina.
That's why I said it. Jokingly apart, that's why I went air bubble. There was a reason I put out that video the other day, and it wasn't to say, is this, is this, that, is this, the other. We pretty much had an idea that we'd seen one of everything. I thought it was white spot, and Daz said, not from this planet. And it was a question for people to say, what do you think these are? What do you think this? What do you think this is? What do you think that is? But there was trick, Costia, fluke, Chiladinella, and also white spot. There was all 5 parasites.
That's a full suite.
That's a full lot. That was on 2 slides. But we had to go through 15 fish at least.
It took us about 2 hours to find them. Yeah.
It wasn't something that we found one scrape, jobs are good, and there you go.
Yeah.
We purposely went through them all to find them, and then put some of the others on slides just to say. But it was a question.
Thing as well,
I thought it was white spot, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Things like water fleas are okay. And most people probably know what they are, but it also helps people rule things out when they think, oh, this might be a parasite. No, it's not. So I think it helped you in that sort of side, in the educational sense as well.
I just thought they were cool under a slide.
They did look pretty cool, pretty scary.
They're pretty, like that bit when you said, Daz, you won't want to be walking around with them, same size as us walking down the street. You'd shit your pants, wouldn't you?
You must have a chance, would you?
For treatment-wise, if it were me, if in doubt, stick with what it says.
Yeah, 100%. You stick to what the bottle says, and then if it doesn't work, you speak to someone.
Yeah.
Don't watch a YouTube video where someone says pour this in, and like you say, the next week they go, my fish all dead because he put twice as much in or 4. It's caution.
That actually happened. It wasn't last year, year before. I can't remember who it was, but they had some small fish in a fish tank, and they actually said, oh, my fish are flashing, so I'm going to treat with PP. And then the next video that came out was all my fish are dead.
It's not great.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't particularly like the stuff.
No, it's a bit
It's
harsh.
volatile. It is
I-
volatile. That's
I
the
think
problem.
for a bath to aid a fish, if you got a fish that's doing, you know, not doing too cracky or whatever, and you think could be likely to be parasites, then take that fish out, take them all out, give them a PP bath one at a time, put them back in, then treat the pond. I'd rather do that than treat the whole damn pond with PP. It scares me to death. And
Yeah.
I will not use that in my pond until I've got somebody that can come along and say, yeah, I've definitely done this and I know exactly the amount that you should be using. This is what you need, and I'll be here with you while you do it. Because even now, I've never used the stuff other than a bath. I've never PP'd my pond.
I've had to do that with a few people. Actually, go to their house and sit with them
Yeah,
for
that's,
4
to
hours
me,
to do a PP treatment.
It
that's
does
the way
really
for me
important.
being. I feel more confident
big
in learning
picture.
it rather than
Yeah.
scared of losing them. I'd be fearful that I'd do something wrong or something would go wrong and I'd lose them all. I know that in a 7-minute bath with another tub outside that I can take them out if something goes wrong, straight
Yeah.
back in there, back into the pond, plenty of oxygen, everything's okay. Rather than running the risk and thinking, oh shit, that fish is belly up. Now I'm going to put in some hydrogen peroxide and hope that it still can survive for that next 10 minutes till it reoxygenates the water again. No, it's not going to happen, is it? It's just you're just going to risk losing that one, and any more that start to react with, it just scares me to death. I'm not saying it shouldn't be used in any way, shape, or form. I would just love someone to come and say, this is the best way to do it. This is what you need to do. Like you say, Rick, get some advice and get somebody to go through it with me. Then I'd be happy and comfortable doing it once I've done it with somebody that knew exactly what they were doing.
To be fair,
Learning
people,
from others.
it's quite crazy. Years and years ago, if you PP and formalin react together to create a gas, so that's why it says a lot of bottles says do not use this treatment with this treatment. If you put those two treatments together, you're in a world of. So being as we are a fish farm, we used to use it in the hatchery, out the pond to sterilise the entire hatchery. Bit of PP, bit of formalin, put it together, run, and the gas would just sterilise the entire everything. And they're two chemicals you can just buy, easy peasy, and they're horrendous.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people that wouldn't know any different might go, "Oh, put some PP and some formalin, and that would do." And you're in a crazy stuff.
Dead on the floor.
Crazy stuff. Just the manufacturers are on the safe side of everything. Do what they say, and at the end of the day, if you need help,
Yes, because we've got such a blame and cancel culture now that this has to be done, because we're in the culture now where there's a blame, there's a claim, and
but that's
I do agree with
sometimes
that.
it happens.
Yeah, it
people
does.
get the volume of bonds wrong, don't they? And just you've got to be just sure of everything you're going to do. Make sure, double check, treble check, make sure it's gallons, not liters, and feet and not inches, and just be sure of everything. Double check, treble check, ask someone, because a lot of the
To be
chemicals.
fair, Rick, don't make it easy for people my age. The bloody print is too tiny. It's micro print.
You need the microscope to read the bloody label, never mind to identify what you're scraping.
Got one of these, photograph it, blow it up.
Yeah.
Good idea.
About
You,
my next
Mr. Techno.
Yeah.
You seen it?
Right.
See, he is learning.
There you do it.
I will say this much, that I agree with one thing that Rick said there. If you want advice, there are people out there and professionals that can give it you, and they've been doing this day in, day out. There is lots of information and lots of stuff you can learn from YouTubers that keep coys, and lots of things that they can show you how to do it. But when it comes to something that you're unsure about, that's, to me, it's not your first port of call. How-to videos and how to build a backy shower, how-to videos, how to build a pond, how they've made a pond. This is people showing you what they're doing in their garden as a form of entertainment, and that's, to me, is how it should be looked at. It's entertainment, it's knowledgeable in some manners, but with certain things that you just got to take with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. When it comes to treating your fish, you wouldn't You wouldn't go if your dog's got a problem. You wouldn't go on the internet and look how to do whatever. Cut your dog open and do a bit of surgery, would you? You go to the vets, whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just every dealer out there will answer the phone and give you advice. Simple advice.
As Crafty said there, but that's the same with all treatments. Overdosing treatments can be fatal, nevertheless. It is, mate, 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to treat accordingly, and you just need to, like I say, the manufacturers is a safe dose, and if in doubt, at the end of the day, you need to know what you're treating for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not difficult, but people seem to make it sometimes more difficult. And microscope or having someone that can do a scrape, we've always offered that people can bring a fish to us and we will do a scrape for free. Always have done. You know, that fish don't come in the shop, but we can take a sample and we can do it. And you can just identify the problem. And at the end of the day, all the bottles say, you know, you pick up any bottle of malachite form, it says, oh, treats flukes and this and that and the other. The list of things it treats is like, wow, I might drink that myself. But at the end of the day, it doesn't, does it? So you need to know what you're treating and what works. And any dealer will turn around and say, well, this is the treatment that works for that problem. Done.
I'll tell you what, it'd be a damn sight fucking cheaper if malachite green and formalin did kill flukes.
It would, yeah. I've never known it work, but
Yeah, I know, but it would work out damn sight cheaper, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, but Praziquantal you can get from Kasuri's not a bad price.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to use in a liquid form, boff. And that, yeah, I can't knock it, to be fair. Fluke Solve works, but it's a lot more expensive because that's that's a combination. Yeah.
Have you tried the new Fluke Self Plus?
No, because I haven't needed to. Because Praziquantal works. So, yeah. And there's other things that work that So, I think most treatments, the right treatment for the right thing in the right temperature zone works. And that's key as well, using it in the right way. So, yeah.
Right, we've got 72 people watching right now.
Right.
I'm going to hit this out for one last time for Will Sky. He's on 91 subscribers. He's 9 shy of the 100 mark. So if we've got 9 people that haven't subscribed to Will Sky, do us a huge favor, guys. Let's see if we can make a new new YouTuber. Let's see if we can make his evening, guys, and get him up that.
Oh, man. That would blow his mind.
He's a gentleman that just joined us. He come on and had a chat. Obviously, he's a little nervous, but he came on and he's had a hello with us all. We've got 72 still in. If we can have a quick chat, guys, amongst yourselves and give him a bit of a thumbs up and give him a bit of a sub. Let's see if we can get him lifted up and get him up to that 100 mark. It'd be wicked if we could.
Get me tablet and I'll subscribe.
It's 93 now, so there we go. We're climbing. Hopefully,
we'll get you there, boy.
A little bit of luck, mate. We shall. I mean, if I could sub again, but I would. But I can't, unfortunately. I only have one account.
I've only got the one account, otherwise I'd sub.
John Cope said I've already subbed. Appreciate it, John. I think it's, just to grow a little bit more of a community, get more and more people, and get more and more people like Will to come on, sit on and chat with us and have a natter. It was great. Other than that, we are pretty much coming up to the very end of the show, guys. We have
come up to 3 hours again, guys.
We've exhausted all those questions, which we've gone through quite a few different topics tonight, which is pretty cool.
Always good. And we go. So Sankey's next week or 2 weeks?
So what we're going to say is we're going to do it every 4 weeks. So this one we'll say for next Thursday night, we're going to do the first one for Sankey, unless you want to give it a fortnight and you've got time, give you a little bit longer. But I mean, I'm cool with next Thursday. Send us in the pictures of your Sankeys, and we will sit and we'll go through them. Each photo that we've had sent in, we'll go through them, we'll talk about them, we'll have a chat about them, and we'll give you our opinions on them. May that be good or bad.
Scrolling through.
Not. And then what we'll do then is we'll pick the one that we like the most out of that group, and we'll get them showcased for you guys to have another look at and see what you think. So next week is going to be the first one, and then we'll do it again in 4 weeks' time, which will be whatever fish we decide. If we can get a guest to come on and pick a fish, and we'll go with a different breed each month like that. So there you go. Get your photos.
Subscribers species, not readers' wives.
Yeah. Let's have a quick refresh for him and see what you're up to now, mate. 97.
Come on.
Ah, come on.
Come on. There's got to be, out of those 69 people out there, there's got to be 3 more people that aren't subscribed to him. Let's see if we just give him a little lift up and get him up to 100. Come on, guys. We can do that. 3 more. That's all we need. 3 more. And if I can't, mate, what I will do there is I'll go in that living room and I'll take my mobile phone off of every family member and I will get you 200.
Yeah, that would absolutely make his day, that will.
Yeah, come on. We've got 2 more. 2 more.
So how do we send these pictures to you? Just to make it clear. I ain't got a clue.
You can either send them through to me at...
What's your mobile number? We just WhatsApp you.
He's forgot it.
Right. Gaz's Koi Pond 1 at virginmedia.com. So first of all, you can email them to there, or you can send them to me at Gary Hoyle on Facebook, or you can join the Facebook group and forward them through there too, and we can showcase them from there. Or you could even join the Discord and you can come and post them in there, and we can share them from there as well. There's several options. If you go to my homepage, you will see a link for Facebook. You'll see a link for Instagram. You'll see a link for Discord. And you'll also see my email address in my About Me for you to copy and paste and send me an email. So let's see what we can come up with next week. See what we get. A couple of Sankey photos and a few people to showcase the fish. Should be wicked.
Vince, have you got one?
What a thank you.
Borrow one.
No, I don't.
Oh,
do you want to borrow one for the event?
No, you can keep it.
There we
In
go.
fact, I have actually. I've got a Yamato Nishiki, which is in fact a Deutsch metallic Sankey.
We said no metallics.
It's still a Sankey though.
But it's a metallic Sankey, and everybody's not got a metallic Sankey, so they might, it's not fair. You have to buy one, Vince, and a butterfly koi for the following week.
Yes, my ass.
Imagine with a butterfly Sankey.
99.
Now you are swearing at me, Ricky.
One more, Shy. Come on. Let's get that one more sub for him.
One more for Will before we call it a night.
Can we get that one more? There's got to be somebody out there that wants to just give somebody that one sub. Will, I will get you there, mate, I promise. Anyway, guys, we are going to bring this evening. Sneak about. Hang about, sneak about. Have you subscribed to Will's Koi? If you haven't, mate, do us a favour.
Give him a sub.
Click on that link there. There you go. Click on that link. Sneak about. You sneaked in at last minute. You can sneak on over there and you can give him a quick sub. Has he done it? Let's see. Yes, 101. Congratulations. You've now got yourself 101 subscribers, bud. Sweet. Right then, guys, I'm going to bring this evening to an end. Thank you very much for everybody who's come and joined us this evening. Usual thing, guys, if you can do me a huge favour, like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. And until next time, we'll see you next week.
Keep smiling.
Take care, all. Keep smiling.
Nice.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Good night.